This episode of Limit Break Radio is made possible by our generous Patreon donors, including Evelyn Evermore of Sargentanis, Borb the Sword of Sargentanis, and Ira Zeno of Ragnarok. Thank you so much for your support. If you want to support Limit Break Radio, visit patreon.com/Limit Break Radio.
Live from Eorzea.
Limit Break with your hosts, Unhero.
Whatever, fruitcake, it's wrong.
Kahlo.
But he's actually hiding his emotions underneath a very thick layer of Axe body spray.
Juxtaposition.
And I love that I have an erection that didn't involve homeless people.
Ascalia.
And y'all know me, I'm no gossip. That is some scandalous ass shit right there.
And Nika.
What's that tell you?
Kind of a lot, actually.
LimitBreakRadio.com.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Limit Break Radio, episode number 54. And we are excited to be here live on twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio. Thank you so much for joining us. We'd love for you to call this week. Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715. Let's get those callers all lined up and ready to go. We're going to be talking about the 3.2 story.
Spoiler time?
Spoiler time.
Oh, spoilers.
Right here, right at the top, just so you know, it's spoiler time, baby. So, you know, if you haven't...
If you don't want them.
Yeah, if you haven't done it yet, which, I mean...
Come on, drop the 3 hours.
Seriously. All right. So,
is there really that much to spoil about it?
Well, a little bit. I mean,
there is.
There's like 2 big spoilers in this.
I feel like we
and a lot of speculation.
I feel like we kind of already dropped some of the some hits about it in spoiler form last week. So,
well, I mean, we did.
Really.
I don't know. We danced around some things, but I don't know. There are a couple of plot points that I'm excited to talk about with you guys today. We'd love to again hear from you as well. Get involved with Limit Break Radio. Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715. Kooky Persona will be answering the phones today. And, you know, thank you, Kooky, for everything that you do for Limit Break Radio. Of course, we moved up Kooky to producer status. Yep.
Rapidly promoted executive.
That's right. That's right. So, joining us this week, we've got, of course, Juxtaposition. What's going on, man?
How's it going, everybody?
We've got Ascalia.
It's so empty in here.
I know. And
what is with this room?
We've got Nika. How's it going, Nika?
Hi.
So we are, of course, missing a Kahlo Landis and Papa Woody. Unfortunately, our intern, Papa Woody...
That is actually really depressing.
...is sick.
I've been going through a lot of Mountain Dew as of recently, and he just pulls... He's really good at getting Mountain Dew.
I know. I don't know what I'm going to do with him not being here. I'm quite thirsty, and my tea's almost gone.
Yeah, you guys have both already got your drinks down to like next to nothing.
I know, it's a problem.
You did not ration that out.
No,
and you know what? The first week that Papa isn't here, we don't have food in the studio.
Uh-huh. What?
This is terrible. This is the worst thing that's ever happened to LBR.
I blame you, Papa.
Yeah, what the fuck are you doing?
We got an extra long day today. We're doing LBR and FEC.
Comcast permitting.
Comcast, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the last 2 days, I've been having like aneurysm-inducing problems with Comcast, And it's I hope that we're going to be able to do these 2 live shows today. We had a hiccup right before the show started. It doesn't instill a lot of faith in me. Like I don't know.
No confidence.
No confidence. That's exactly it. I'm a little nervous.
Being in contact with you.
Wow.
Comcast.
What did we make it to? 5 minutes?
Seriously.
What the hell is wrong with you?
Wow.
Oh, it's going to be one of those days.
It is going to be one of those days. So, honestly, guys, if...
Cookie said refreshing brings us back. So
it's
back up.
Yeah.
We just blinked.
Yeah, we blinked there, but if it goes down, like goes down, or if it's spotty the entire time, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to reschedule Final Encountercast, because there's no way that we could, be able to even maintain the scene or anything. There's just no way to be able to do that show
without internet.
Yeah.
Like, LBR has gotten to the point where we are mostly reliant on having internet, but we could at least finish the show if we had to. FEC, there's no way.
Exactly, yeah. We would be screwed.
Like, half our
FEC.
news segment would be undoable.
Yeah. So, by the way, starting, we had said I think we wanted to start this episode, but we wanted to start taking your calls on Discord as well. So make sure Chuck's to go sign on to Discord, and then also make sure that we're in the on-air room. That's where we need to be. Yeah, okay. Do that.
Thanks for the heads up on that one, Aniro.
So sorry about that. I forgot. I worked that out with Kookie and then totally forgot. Thank you, Kookie.
Well, it's not like I'm engineering or anything. I'm not an important part of this whole dynamic.
No, you're not. Why would you be?
Jeez.
Why would you be?
Because I control who gets on and who gets off. Phrasing.
Yeah.
I'm so happy. Well, I guess he does control who gets off in that if he takes his shirt off, none of us will get off.
Excuse me, but I have a very handsome and badass looking tattoo, which makes all the ladies come to my yard for the milkshakes.
Is this real life? Did I just hear that?
Is you gonna be showing your tattoo off at the beach now?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, be like, oh, look at this. What's it mean? It's so handsome. It means I'm a survivor.
Oh my god.
I like Doug's impression of Beach Girl.
You should have seen the look on his face as he said that.
Thor is the elder primal of donation. There are 12 today, so don't be spacin'. Let's go LBR. Let's go racing. Aniro, now the masterclass on the PlayStation. Hashtag Darbykins. Hashtag Potatoden.
Oh, and yes, of course, this past week on Reset Day, we played a little game called Lords of Thorminion.
Thorminion?
Is that how? Yeah.
Lords of Thorminion, yep.
Yeah. So Thor decided to, say anyone who donated while we were live on Tuesday, he was going to match their donation with delightfully clever rhyme or limerick or something or other.
Haiku.
So that marks the first of 12 donations that we're going to be seeing from Thor today. So thank you, Thor, and thank you to everyone who gave on the Lords of Thorminion Day.
And if there was ever a time to donate $500, that would have been it.
Yeah.
All right, so obviously we had that hiccup just a few minutes past.
Yeah, right.
Did it kick you off Final Fantasy?
It did.
Yes.
It did.
Are you logging back in?
Can we get the studio up?
Yeah.
I don't really want to. I think it's
not using the studio anymore.
Yeah, I think it's a liability at this point. I mean, if we're gonna be getting knocked off left and right,
dude, we're moving out of there soon. We have to get the episodes in there while we can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, soon. Quotation marks.
Yeah, soon. Just like Final Fantasy IX's coming out on the PC soon. AKA push back to April, AKA fuck you, Square Enix. Seriously, I tweeted the Square Enix account like, hey, I would really appreciate FF9 launching like before March 11th.
And they were like
an hour later, word comes out on Steam that's pushed back to April. And I was like, God, Fuck you, Square Enix.
Well, everyone can blame Ascalia for that. So great, good job.
Good job, Ascalia.
They will literally do anything to spite me. I believe it now.
Well, I mean, right down to fucking with our internet connection.
Dude, do you think they're in line with Comcast?
I think they're in line with the Garleans. I think they're all in league with the Garleans. It's a gigantic conspiracy.
No, it's not possible because you see, Comcast is like competent at fucking everyone over, whereas the Garleans, not so much.
Yeah, okay.
He's not wrong.
Of course I'm not wrong.
Well, what if it's the Garleans actually getting a good plot together?
Hey, do you remember the Garleans?
Oh yeah, I do.
What's the best plot they've ever formulated?
I'm not saying like
their whole strategy is just dropping things on other things.
All right.
Come on,
studio. Get the studio up.
I'm working on it. What?
You know, you were supposed to do something this week.
What? Yeah. So.
Okay, did you do it?
Maybe that's why he doesn't want to. Log in.
Come on.
Get your ass in here.
Come on, dude. It's like a bad haircut. Just let everyone see and get the laugh out.
It's a lie. Dude, we're just going to get knocked offline again. I know it. Comcast is...
Excuses are like buttholes.
Get your ass
Everyone
in this
stinks
chair.
and fuck them.
Well, we've got a call on the line. We've got Gordor. Gordor, what's going on, man? Seriously?
Really? I'm trying to fix Discord. Gosh.
Are you kidding me?
Bring in. Fuck.
Oh my God.
God, where's all the drops today? They've been slow.
Yeah. Wow. You know, the intern has nothing to do with drops or engineering. That's all your department.
You know, I've been trying to get everything ready, and when you just drop this Discord stuff and shit, and oh hey, we got Gordor on the line. Gordor, how are you doing?
What's up, Gordor?
You're an asshole.
What's up? Yes, I am. Of course I am.
Okay. Great. Thank you for having you on the show.
How you doing? So what now?
I said thanks for coming on the show. We'll see you next time.
Yeah. Later. So how's everyone doing?
We're fine. You sound terrible.
I can barely hear you.
Yeah.
Do you have a cold?
Yeah. God, that's really not...
Did Garlean stab you in the vocal cords? Blink once for yes.
Is that better?
No.
No.
No, not at all, man.
See, this is why we have Kooky. Why are you just bringing people in here?
Yeah, Kooky.
I think he's...
No, this was you, Nero.
I think he's...
What? No, Kookie's got to screen these before putting them through.
Did she screen this one, or did you just bring him in?
Kookie says he was fine before.
Okay.
When I get a message from Kookie, I assume that means that someone is on the line and ready to go.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I just saw that. It was like...
See, I just assumed you were just pulling people in to avoid logging in.
I think he's just talking to us.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to deflect right now.
I am not. I don't know what you're talking about. We'll try again. Gordor, can we try this again? Is your connection any better?
That's much better.
We're good.
It's a little better.
It's I don't know. Say something longer than is it good?
All right. So check this out. Last time.
No, it's not. It's not.
He's talking through a Dixie cup with string on the end.
That's really terrible. That's not good.
It's definitely not good.
Kookie, come on now. All right. We'll try. I don't know if this is the internet on my end or what's going on.
Well, if it was internet here, then Nika should be sounding like shit too.
Right. And
Do I sound like shit?
No, Nika, you sound fine.
Well, you sound like you normally do, which granted is shit. Don't get us wrong, but I mean, you sound normally shit.
Okay, I can live with that.
It's not shit. It's just normal shit.
Are you logged in yet?
See the studio, bro.
I don't think it's gonna work, man.
You didn't want to show anyone off like the lack of beard, dude. You just like a bandage or a hot wax strip. You just got to tear it off.
Do it, dude.
I don't think that I'm nervous to put any more load on the connection.
You're nervous to be seen as a potato.
No,
come on, don't be shitty.
No, I'm telling you, if I log on to FF14, it's gonna kick all of this off the air, and then we're not even gonna be able to finish out the show live.
Is that what you're concerned about?
Yes, that's what I'm concerned about.
Just anything to get out of this, huh?
I'm telling you, if I log on and it's the straw that broke the camel's back, then
dick.
I mean, I'm going to hold you guys responsible for this.
Okay, and when it doesn't break your back, then we will laugh at you.
I'm telling you.
I'm telling you.
I'm telling you. It's going to be. It's going to be too much. The internet has been shitty for 2 solid days.
Oh, okay. Then I guess just pout.
I am not pouting. Jesus.
The drops don't lie. You are clearly pouting.
I am not.
So saith Archer.
I am not. God.
Do your job.
Look, I can't.
Do your job.
I cannot be held responsible.
Do your job.
I can't be held
Do your job.
responsible for Comcast.
Do your job.
Can we call Comcast and just play that drop over and over again?
God, I wish we could. That would be funny. I can't. I see.
Do your job. Do your job. Do your job. Do your job.
God damn.
Do your job. Do your job.
Don't you just hate the idea of drops more and more we have them on the show? They are impossible to argue with. Because
he just keeps tagging them over and over and over again.
Well, he plays the drop and you feel compelled to argue with it, but then you start arguing with it and you realize you're arguing with
drops. God damn it.
And you feel like a fucking moron.
Ballin'. I hate you so much.
Yeah. Studio time?
I'm working on it. God almighty. Jeez.
Are you kidding?
No, I'm not.
I can see it's going to be a Thor-heavy episode.
It definitely is going to be a Thor-heavy episode. Jeez. Thank you for, of course, the donation, Thor, and for everyone who participated in the Lords of Thorminion.
Yeah. All right.
I don't know why the text to speech didn't go over for that one. That was weird. We heard it in the headphones.
Yeah, I heard it.
It didn't play through the stream?
Yeah, I guess it didn't. That was weird.
Just a hitch? I don't know.
I don't know.
Uh-oh.
We've got all kinds of weirdness going on today.
That's not foreboding at all.
The LBR curse continues.
All right. Well, while Aniro fumbles with that, we got Gordor back on the line saying he's better.
Let's try it again. Gordor, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. You can hear me, right?
That's much better. Much better. Thank you.
Yeah, whatever. All right.
Whatever.
How's everyone doing?
Whatever.
Everyone's good, right? Everyone's having a good day?
Say what you got to say,
Gordor. Get to your fucking point. Jesus.
All right, here's my fucking point. Last time I called this motherfucker, you cut me off calling it an undercut. Now, since then, you've put 2 bitches on this line that, one, sucked your dick for like 20 minutes, and the other one drove on forever and then sucked your dick for 20 minutes. So, if you really... And then you're going to turn around and not turn to a goddamn potato? What the fuck is that shit about? Why are you being a little punk-ass bitch? I've known you for 10 goddamn years, and you have never been this big of a punk-ass bitch. Why the fuck are you being a punk-ass bitch?
Gordor, what do you have against getting your dick sucked, man? I don't know about you. I like getting my dick sucked.
Yeah, okay, but he gave Dingle Star 9000 and Aaron Edgeless a fucking soapbox to stand on, and they did nothing with it. Nothing.
Just like you're doing right now. I mean, this is all empty words from Gordor. This is all impotent rage from Gordor. He doesn't. You didn't give to the bet. You didn't give anything. What are you losing out on? Huh?
Oh, shots fired.
What am I losing out on?
Yeah, what are you, Gordor? What the actual fuck are you losing out on? You didn't give any money. You don't get to complain.
Because you didn't give to my
Yes, I
Kickstarter,
do.
man, and that really bummed me out.
Because
you don't get to complain. Suddenly we're out of comebacks. Look at that. Suddenly we're all out of witty retorts.
No, I was taking care of something. Now,
taking care of something. Are you putting Desitin on your hiney?
Years. I have known you for 10 years. I have never heard you be such a punk ass bitch than I heard last week. Why are you being a punk ass bitch? Give these people what the fuck they want.
Punk ass bitch is that seems to be the refrain here, Gordor. But
not wrong.
But here's
still butthurt.
What you want me to do? Call you a bitch, nigga?
Where's your dog in this fight, Gordor? What stakes do you have in this? Why do you give a shit?
I'll give you a Patreon right now.
Why do you give a shit?
Because it pisses you off.
Okay, so what
gives me a reason to piss you off.
So what was that about Patreon? Roll that back.
Yeah. No, if you do it right now, I'll give you a Patreon.
Do what right now, Gordor?
If you turn into a potato right now.
Well, fuck your face. You owe me money, bitch.
Yes, idiot.
I owe you a goddamn bitch.
Look on your stream, you fucking retard.
You lose.
Sorry, you're on the hook for a Patreon donation. Have fun being on the hook every month for that.
I give it to you right now.
Okay, good. I'm going to watch for the Patreon notification. So there you go.
Man, he's showing us. He's going to give us money on Patreon.
Good. There you go. Bye, Gordor. Thanks for the call.
Gordor, I don't want to throw any I don't want to piss on your Cheerios or anything, but I got to tell you, impotent rage thrown at a Nero is the equivalent of sucking his dick.
Finally,
I want to see what your face looks like. You're so cute.
No.
That is his face.
That is my face. What are you talking about? This is my face. It has always been my face.
A Nero's the man in the iron mask, or the potato in the iron mask.
That's right. All right, let's get the iCam rolling here. Oh, there we go.
Man, a Nero, that is hideous.
I hope you're all happy. I think
they are. The chat seems quite pleased.
Where's Kook? Where is Kooky?
Where is Kooky?
Yeah. We need to get Kooky on the line to see what was the actual number of hashtag potato dens.
A lot,
because she's been the one who's been tallying them, and I sort of feel like
my Twitter's been blowing up with it all week, so I'm gonna go with a lot.
We did. Well, we definitely got a lot. Yeah.
Did you get less ugly?
I just want everyone to know.
No, significantly more ugly.
I just want everyone to know that I've hit that drop 3 times because apparently a Nero muted my drops. So, fuck you.
You can do that?
Yeah, well, yes, of course he can. He did that last episode.
But I meant to mute Gordor, so you did the right thing by hanging up on him, though.
Yeah, well, of course I did.
Good job.
We got Kooky on here now.
Kooky, how's it going?
Good, and you?
Good. All right. So producer Kooky joins us today because she has been actively monitoring social media for the hashtag Potato Den tweets and Facebooks. What was the total number of Potato Dens?
The total number of hashtag Potato Den was at 724.
Oh my God.
So it didn't even reach the 1,000 that you were waiting for. Twitter was 344. Facebook was 380. Someone on Facebook put a whole comment that's 341 hashtag Potato Den.
Well, okay, hold on. Is that one comment though?
One comment. Yes.
Oh, that doesn't count at all.
That only counts for one.
Yeah, it's one comment. Come on.
That's not each an individual hashtag, but fine, whatever. Nice, great. There's a nice crotch shot of me for some reason.
By the way, can we take a moment to appreciate some of the creativity that came out of this? Because by the end of Sunday night, there was already first of all, there was already a Twitter account named Potato Den,
right,
which was rallying the voters, rallying the LB army to put out the hashtag Potato Dens. I saw Potato Den written in potato skins. We had a short little I want you propaganda poster with a Nero on it as a Potato Den.
Shit, yeah!
It just, the amount of creativity and ridiculousness that came out of this was absolutely amazing.
Which is what we were looking for out of it the first time. So we really appreciate you guys responding in kind. That was a fun thing. So there you go. There's the Potato Den.
It's always fun when we can involve the audience in something big like that.
Exactly. And see, the thing is that if I had just done it, if I had just been like, yeah, okay, it's done, there we go, and not made a big deal about it, this wouldn't have been as fun.
Yeah.
Right? There we go. So I did get a couple of emails that were, I think, from people who were legitimately upset.
I saw that on Twitter. Like, there were some people who thought that was very real and very angry and very uncomfortable.
Oh, come on.
Taser Smurf.
Not to me, no.
Taser Smurf.
Well, okay.
Calling someone out, huh?
Come on, it's a joke, guys. It's called having
Gordor
fun.
came on the show to have a go, and Nero produced the goods and let it flow. He's a lala, I see it for show. Get down on your tummy, Gordor, and give him a blow. Hashtag evil hippie. Hashtag potato.
That was good.
That one was good. I just want to make sure that one did go over the show, though. So chat, let me know. Okay, so thank you, Kooky, for tallying those and for rallying people to chime in on hashtag Potato Den. So fun. Fun shit. I really love your guys' creativity. So.
And to that point, when people ask us, like, hey, was that real? It's like, is it ever real?
Is it ever?
Are we ever really pissed at each other?
No.
You're a bitch.
It's all for fun. So, all right, guys, let's talk about some FF14 news, of which there is none. So,
man, what a segment!
That's it.
That was taxing.
Okay.
Womp womp.
I do have kind of an exciting announcement here, guys. So we are extremely excited to announce that we have secured our first sponsor for Limit Break Radio.
Oh my God.
I know. I mean, it is worth, trust me, it is worth getting excited about. But we wanted to introduce you to our very first sponsor today, which is Alamo City Comic-Con. There's their logo. You can check them out on the web at their website, Alamo City Comic-Con, and they are going to be bringing us down to at least one, if not a few of us, down to Alamo City Comic-Con this year down in San Antonio, Texas. So, again, their website, AlamoCityComicCon.com. And the event goes from October 28th to the 30th, 2016 at the Henry B. Gonzalez Convention Center in San Antonio, Texas. We're going to be out there, and there's going to be some kind of big announcement. I don't want to say any more than that, but there's going to be some exciting stuff that's announced out at Alamo City.
By the way, huge convention.
A gigantic convention.
Blows Youmacon out of the water.
Absolutely. It's a convention that gets about 35,000 people, and some of the notable guests include David Prowse, the original body actor for Darth Vader, Jason David Frank, the Green Ranger, Jeremy Bullock, who played Boba Fett, Billy D. Williams, Robin Lord Taylor, Tim Rose, who played Admiral Akbar, Billy Piper from Doctor Who, Tom Kenny, a guy who I am a huge admirer of. Of course, the voice of SpongeBob and the Ice King. Also, notable actor from the sketch comedy show Mr. Show, and a whole ton more. You can check out again their website, AlamoCityComicCon.com. We want to thank them for their sponsorship of the show. So you'll hear more about Alamo City Comic-Con, and hopefully we'll be able to talk to a few of these guests coming in the near future for Final Encountercast. So
greatest conversation ever.
We're super excited to have them as a sponsor. Oh, and there's the Patreon notification from Gordor making good on his word. Thank you, Gordor. We appreciate it. Yeah, make sure that you check out Alamo City Comic-Con. Try to get out there. Like I said, we're going to be out there. We're going to be planning something out there. And it's right like a couple of weeks weeks after FanFest. So, you know.
A week after Youmacon, right?
Yeah.
Or a week before Youmacon.
Week before Youmacon, yeah.
What a 3 weeks that's going to be.
Yeah, October is going to be crazy for Limit Break Radio. So we hope that that you'll join us out there and get excited for this announcement. It's definitely something you guys are going to want to be paying attention to. So, So, again, thank you to Alamo City Comic-Con for their sponsorship of the show. So, all right, why don't we talk about the FFFL?
Alrighty, guys, week 4.
Here's a story that's out of this world.
I need your theme up.
We need the music.
Oh, God.
Where's our production?
Oh, it's all coming apart at the seams. Do you literally just have it drop and there's just a big sigh?
It's called Heavy Sigh.
Oh, Heavy Sigh. Well.
Because I can't just do that normally.
I think you just did.
That was a light sigh.
Okay, here's your theme music. Just go.
Alrighty, everybody. Week 4 of the FFFL is in the books, and the standings are getting tight. But first, a quick recap of last week. 2/3 of the league made changes to their lineups. First, with rumors swirling that the league is set to hand out a 4-week ban to Wako over his use of deflated blitzballs, Hanger's Crucible cut ties with him and signed Vincent. The Besaid butt plugs got Seymour off the bench, choosing to release Emerald Weapon and sign longtime fan favorite Cloud. Strangely, Cloud is yet to be seen at practice and was absent from the competition this week. League sources are said to be investigating his whereabouts. Bondage and Servitude made a lineup change after this week's injury report was released. After seeing the outlook for Minfilia, they chose to drop her and acquire a new coach in Quistis. Lastly, while Titans Banana Hammock did not get involved with the waiver wire, they did send Balthier back to the bench in favor of Kane. Now on to the matchup results. This week, the Mordian Jailbirds suffered a heartbreaking last-minute loss to Bondage and Servitude. Woo! Furthermore, Steiner appeared to have been injured and is currently under further evaluation. The Jailbirds fall to 1-3, while Bondage and Servitude moves to 3-1. Meanwhile, the Besaid butt plugs took their first loss of the season, with the Caloclux clan pulling off the upset. Could it have been distractions around the disappearance of their newest player that ended the Buttplugs' bid at an undefeated season? They fall to 3-1 as the Caloclux clan moves to 2-2. And lastly, the woes continue for Titans Banana Hammock, who suffered a brutally close loss to Hanger's Crucible. Banana Hammock fans were spotted wearing bags over their heads during the second half of the game this week, and chants of Fire Woody could be heard.
Wow.
Hanger's Crucible goes to 3-1, while the Banana Hammocks fall to 0-4. This week on the waiver wire, we have Rauban, Black Belt from Final Fantasy I, Terra, Garnet, Irvine, Red 13, Absolute Virtue, Sorceress Adele, Galoof/Krill, and Edge.
They're not the same person.
Yeah, but, you know.
Wait, what?
For obvious reasons, Galoof and Krill are going together.
Wait, if you can pick Alchemist Bards and Freelancer Bards, Galoof and Krill are separate people.
Okay, well, don't pick Galoof because he dies. Spoilers.
Jeez.
Well, what about Palom and Porum? I mean, are they a package deal too?
I would have put them as one, yeah.
You're bad at this.
That's two people.
Palom and Porum, but they're useless as one. Never mind.
True.
All right, so the waiver order wire this week is going to be Papa Woody, Scalia, Callow, Nika, Aniro, and Juxta rounding out that.
I don't need to make any changes.
Well, you are coming off a win this week. Big win.
Well, it's because the only person I would take is Terra, but she's a teenager, so she has no boobs, and Garnet, which I don't.
Garnet?
Garnet?
Garnet,
yeah, it's
like
French.
the stone. No, it's not.
It's
French
speak. It's the T.
French? It's French.
It's French.
It's French speak.
Yeah.
This is great.
Oh my God.
He's calling her Garnet because it's French speak.
Princess Garnet till Alejandros.
Jeez.
It's called being cultured, you heathens.
It's called being an idiot.
Okay, fine. You guys are idiots. Congratulations.
All right, so the matchups this week, we've got the Besaid butt plugs going up against Bondage and Servitude, both at 3-1. Hanger's Crucible will be squaring off against the Caloclux clan, and Titan's Banana Hammock is up against the Mordian Jailbirds.
The two toilet bowl.
They are playing in the toilet bowl this year. That's about it.
Yeah.
Not the greatest of matchups.
No.
We got the Lions versus the Jaguars going on.
Yeah, that's not great.
Awkward. And the current standings remain with the Besaid Butt Plug still in first place, holding the tiebreaker over Hanger's Crucible. Hanger's Crucible is in second with the tiebreaker over Bondage and Servitude. Bondage and Servitude comes in at third place. Caloclux Clan in fourth. The Jailbirds in fifth. And Titans Banana Hammock rounding out the order at sixth place. And that's what's going on in the FFFL, guys.
All right. Well, thank you for that update, Escalia. Do we have to do waiver wire choices now, or
you can if you want to do them now, but I just need to have them by Monday night.
All right.
Does anyone have something like pressing that they want to get off their chest? I mean, Anero, you got Absolute Virtue available on the waiver wire this week,
and Sorceress Adele.
Well, yeah, but you've already got Ultimessia.
Yeah, so. I think I want to swap out Cloud's Corpse for Absolute Virtue.
You may want to be careful how you word that to the committee, but sure.
Okay.
You're gonna be dropping Cloud for Absolute Virtue.
Yeah,
because he never showed up to practice.
Cloud. That's right.
Dropping him like a sack of potatoes.
That's right.
Mm.
I don't know what happened.
Doesn't Cloud have to like sign something to be dropped?
I don't think that's true.
I'm pretty sure there's like
I
some
don't
kind
think
of
that's true.
league rules.
No, I don't think that's true.
That might get tied up in some red tape, but we'll see how that goes this week. And you said you're standing pat, right, Juxta?
Yeah, oh yeah, I'm good.
All right, Hanger's
I'm
Crucible?
not changing either, no.
No? Okay, I think I'll be making a move. Maybe I'll pick up Absolute Virtue. I don't know what I'm going to do with them.
I said I was picking up Absolute Virtue.
Well, I'm ahead of you in the waiver wire.
Okay, whatever the fuck your name is. How are you going to...
Escalia?
Sure. How are you going to justify Absolute Virtue on your team of
Yeah, that's right. Absolute Virtue would wreck your team.
Well, is Absolute Virtue
evil? You have 11 people on your team also, so...
Yeah, I do have Celtius on my team, which would make that a little awkward, admittedly.
Yeah, see, I don't think
Absolute Virtue might be right in the bench.
I don't see that working out too well for you. All right, so there you go. That's it.
That was a huge waste of time.
It always is. Let's talk about the 3.2 story. Now, guys, if you have not completed the 3.2 story,
What the hell is wrong with you?
I'm going to encourage you to bail out of the conversation. This is a spoiler zone.
You could have finished it in the time it took us since we started the episode.
Seriously,
come on.
Right, yeah.
No, those cutscenes are long.
Yeah, you have to do the anti-tower.
What about the anti-tower?
Yeah, it takes a long, like at least 25 minutes to do that.
Skip the cutscenes. It doesn't matter.
So let's talk about 3.2's story because here we've been sitting on it now for 2 weeks. There was some interesting stuff that happened, but there's actually more that's like interesting because it's implied, I think, than what actually happened. And much like my complaint with some of the other patches is that it's another patch of all setup. It's all set up. There was literally no payoff that happened the entire time. All we got was what happened to Minfilia. That's really it. And all right, so
a lot happened en route to nothing happening.
Yeah, kind of. Like there was just more. There was more things and cryptic explanations of things. So let's start off with the 3.2 MSQ. By the way, if you'd like to call Limit Break Radio, we'd love to hear from you. Limit Break Radio on Skype or 810-515-8715. We'd like to hear what you thought of the 3.2 story. And it starts off pretty much directing us straight to the anti-tower and going back to Matoya, which is where the anti-tower is located. And so you make your way through the anti-tower, which, I mean, I have to admit, it is a cool dungeon. But
it lacks an exposition.
Yeah.
Especially since it's like supposed to be like a big lore infested area.
Yeah. Visually it's stunning, but it's shallow.
Had the same kind of setup, but we got a lot more context from the library than we got from this.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that there was more interesting and engaging in the library than there was here, because really as you move through the anti-tower, you've got the magic walkways that lead up to the anti-tower. And I guess I thought what was going to happen was at some point they were going to flip us upside down and like you know, like those pads, instead of just like transferring us to the next pad, it would like somehow
like make us fly upside down.
Flip
Well,
the.
I mean, I think technically we were on the ceiling. They just didn't flip the perspective because that'd be hard.
Still, flipping the perspective would have been awesome.
People would get sick. They couldn't do that.
Well, but I mean, so you've got that middle section that happens in just like this sort of like ethereal,
stupid zone.
Yeah, this like ethereal nonsense
Because they
place that
had
has
to
like
have a David Bowie reference.
broken, you know, like broken stairways and stuff like that. But the thing about that is I feel like they sort of missed out on an opportunity there to present the anti-tower one, you know, like right side up, and then the third could have been the upside down conversion.
I thought that'd have been a cool mechanic for a boss.
Yeah,
like where the boss can flip you to the ceiling,
or the boss goes on to the ceiling, or something. Yeah,
do something with that theme.
I mean, I was really interested by the theme, but yeah, sort of felt like they didn't really do much with it.
It ends up coming across as very shallow.
Yeah, and like the creepy dolls were creepy, but all they were was a reference, like in a throwback to an old FF. They weren't really like what did that have to do with this game at all?
Ghostless shall the ode to a lawful fuck fest. With licking, sucking, and really, really small breasts, the lawful 69 would be the best. But a deep throat might just make a mess. Hashtag potato in.
Oh Jesus!
Wow. the way that the text to speech says lalafel, it really sounds like falafel, and I really want to eat them.
That's the right reaction. That's fine.
Yeah, I came out of Anti-Tower feeling like at some point we will probably revisit Anti-Tower. Like story-wise, I don't know how they'll get us back in there, but that is ripe for like another set of 3 floors, like going down deeper into the Anti-Tower, or a hard mode.
For hard mode, yeah.
I fully expect us to go back there and do more with the Anti-Tower, because like if this was a set like an introduction to Anti-Tower, that would make sense to me. But if this is literally all we're going to get out of it, that's really shallow for such a good concept.
You really like that word, Escalia. Shallow?
Yeah. Well, it's because I'm a very shallow person.
Is that like your lowest common denominator word for the day?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll go with that.
I don't know. I feel like, well, obviously, like...
Did you come out of it feeling like fulfilled?
No, obviously not, but I mean...
I was scared. I was terrified because of those freaky dolls.
You know, that brings up
like
another...
every time I get turned into a doll, I just be like, Mama, Mama, feed me,
That is...
Mama.
Okay.
Oh my God, Nika, that's terrifying.
Stop doing that.
Yeah, stop that right now.
Yeah. It turns you into dolls. It's so weird.
We know.
We've had nothing but nightmares about it for 2 weeks. Yeah,
Kel Cabrera is obviously nightmare fuel.
But again, like another like callback to an old Final Fantasy game, and I feel like more and more we're seeing like more evidence. Like we talked about it when we got that riddle that could the shatter, like the separating of those worlds be the different Final Fantasy realms, and we see more evidence for it all the time.
I wouldn't go that far. I mean, yes, obviously it's a reference, but there's nothing saying that it came from another world. I mean, it's just a creepy doll.
I'm gonna salt you real good, boy. Hashtag potato in.
Thanks, Dark Magic. All right.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna salt you real good, boy. Mm-hmm.
You got a purty mouth, boy.
Lick my balls.
I don't know. I just feel like at some point it's hard to ignore the constant references to other games. Like at the beginning, it was a good joke. And
it was kind of it was like a kind of cute nod to stuff. Now I sort of feel like they're leaning on it.
At some point, I feel like they're gonna do something with that because it's constant. It's every patch. There's some sort of throwback to an old Final Fantasy game.
Well, yeah, but that's because like the fans just eat that shit up.
Yeah, that's what I think
we
too.
really do.
And that's fine, but I don't think, like, if they're going to do what Escalia is, like, suggesting they do, then I feel like then they would, like, throw more hints towards having different realms, but so far all we have is Final Fantasy XI with Shantoto and Final Fantasy 13 with...
And 13, yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's been theorized before that like FF14 could be the nexus point for a lot of different Final Fantasy universes because it has a tie-in. FF3 Crystal Tower
Okay, but the Crystal Tower exists within 14. It's not like it's not like
it's
from
actually
somewhere
in
else.
14's lore. It's not that our worlds have like squished together and we can now access FF3's tower. It's not the same tower.
I agree. I just don't think it's that much of a stretch to say maybe these things are in the 14 world because they exist elsewhere.
Honestly, if they do that, it's Square Enix's attempt at a shitty shoehorn retcon to make all of the worlds somehow connected because connected universes are like the big thing. And we all know that all of those Final Fantasies were developed in turn like all of those worlds it wasn't supposed to take place on the same world.
Right.
Well, you say that. However, for starters, we have Dissidia, which connects all of the worlds into a nexus. We have
shittily.
We have Record Keeper. Hold. We have Record Keeper, which connects them all. Shittily.
No,
we do.
I mean it.
But we also have
it
Kingdom
exists, and we have Final Fantasy IV, the After Years, which connects them all shittily. So
Wait,
I
how
mean,
does After Years connect?
And Gilgamesh, who confirms that he jumps between games.
Doesn't connect them
Kingdom
all.
Hearts connects them a lot more than anything else.
It connects
some of them.
the first couple of.
It connects
1, 2. No, wait.
1, 6, 5. No, not 5.
I can't remember.
1 and 6 for sure.
I do know what you're talking about, though.
But yeah,
shittily,
yeah. Obviously. So I feel like at this point, like they're trying to like connect them all again into 14. It's like they've already connected them all multiple times. So I'm like,
I just feel like there's enough evidence of it at this point that we can consider it a real possibility.
I feel like if anything was going to be worlds are connected, it would be Dissidia. Like it's literally like Cosmos and Chaos. They're summoning their heroes and they're fighting. And I feel like if Final Fantasy was going to connect, it wouldn't be in such a way that like in 14 that wouldn't really. It's not Final Fantasy's style. Dissidia is much more of the nexus, and I think this is just fan service.
I'm not sure which I hate more.
It's true. Both are. I don't know. Both are pretty frustrating.
Hey, I'm okay with my Zidane Ninja Glamour.
Let's go to our phone lines. We've got a first-time caller, Seraph Skyheart from Moogle. What's going on, Seraph?
Who's Seraph?
Oh, is that Tom 2?
No. Dun, dun, dun.
Tom 2. Hey, what's up, buddy? How's it going, man?
I'm good. I actually binged the story the past week because I haven't been playing anything else but Destiny. But then people were talking about the 3.2 stories, like, oh my god, plot twist, this and that. Then that piqued my interest, so I resubbed and I binged everything.
Okay, so when you say you binged, that means
from where?
You took a drink? Is like having one pint? Is that your binge?
Did you have to do 3.1 too?
When I resubbed, I was level 58.
Oh, okay. So you had finished Heaven's Ward too.
All right, gotcha.
Fair enough.
That's still in Heaven's Ward, so I had to grind all the way to 60 and then beat Heaven's Ward, then go to 3.1, and now last night I finished 3.2.
So I mean, I've got to say that probably probably felt like a good chunk of content right there. I mean, how did it leave you feeling? Like, I mean, we haven't quite gotten to like the Grand Melee or the Peace Summit yet, but how did you feel generally about the MSQ's presentation?
Well, because I had such a huge pause in story doing Heaven's Ward, I was mostly looking forward to finishing it. And after I finished Heaven's Ward and went through the MSQ, all of a sudden I was at 3.2. So 3.1 felt like very light. Like I was like, where are cutscenes?
That's interesting.
Where are all the epic things? I went through a dungeon. Is this it? So all of a sudden I was at 3.2. It's like, okay.
Okay, so even someone who has to finish Heaven's Ward had pretty much the same impression we did.
Yeah, because that is exactly the impression that we had coming off of 3.1. So, yeah, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so it's not really that much different.
Well, cool, man. What else have you been? What else have you been up to, Tom?
Full-time job.
Nice.
Yeah, just mostly working there, making videos, hosting stuff. But I miss this. We miss you.
It
sucks that I'm still like 8 hours away from you guys because I love you guys, but I'm not ever going back into a closet to record a show with you.
Yeah. It's a little warm in here.
It is. It definitely is. It's like it feels like we're sitting next to a blast furnace for some reason.
Can't wait for summer.
Digs though, guys.
Thanks, man. Thanks. By the way, you want to plug your thing? So if fans want to check it out,
I stream on Twitch, which is Tom Tubui, my real name, not that stupid Sarah Skyhart thing. I'm on Twitter on Tom2. My YouTube channel is Blogtu, BLOGTU, and I just geek out about stuff, Awesome. And I draw.
Of course. Yeah, thanks for the call, Tom, too. It's good to catch up, man.
I still listen to Tam Tuesday. It's always fun.
Oh yeah, I've definitely got a sub going there. So thanks, man. We appreciate you. We appreciate you stopping by, dude.
Yeah. Also, if anyone can tell me how to mod in Shoryuken for Thancred's voice lines whenever a certain part happens,
you're talking about the Thancred punch. Oh,
the Shoryuken. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I wanted to take that moment. And I wanted to just make an animated GIF, and at the moment his fist connects with what's his name's face, Mainland's face, I wanted the World Star logo to come up. Like that would have been the funniest thing in the world to me.
Okay,
wait, is he talking about the Mainland punch or the other one?
Oh, there are two punches. Yeah, that's true.
I think he was talking about the other one. If he's talking about a Shoryuken.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, Tontu, thanks for giving us a call here. If you want to join us on Limit Break Radio, send a Skype message over to the Skype account Limit Break Radio or 810-515-8715. And, of course, make sure that you check out all of those links to what Tom2's doing now. So glad to hear, of course, from an old... That's two old friends that we've heard from now.
Two?
Gordor.
Well, he's been talking
from him
before.
a million times.
He's not old anymore. He's current.
And friend's a weird word to use.
Yeah, he's a current person.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
By the way, when did Thancred become a monk?
Yeah, right?
Well, let's talk about Thancred and Y'shtola, because I feel like the two of them have had a remarkably dark turn on their character.
And by that, we mean they've actually displayed some character.
Well, yeah, that's it's becoming interesting, but
okay. Well, when you go bathing in a sea of aether, you will see how you react afterwards. Okay.
So, well, but what do you guys think is the tonal shift? Do you guys think it's just the adversity that we have been through, or is there something else going on?
Well, I think the writers are getting smarter, first of all, and they actually understand how to give their characters character development. So that's a start.
Well, I mean, definitely they are in a very different place. Like when they went into the Aether, they were still the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. This shit was just starting to go down in Ul'dah, and like they've now gone from basically like the protectors of the realm to like shunned outcasts. Effectively, they've had their whole order kind of torn apart. Their leader's gone. I can see why you might come out and be a little different.
I wouldn't say their order's been torn apart. I mean, obviously it's in shambles, but I don't think they're like any less regarded now, right?
Well, they've cleared their name, kind of, right? At this point,
yeah,
they have, because Nanamo's alive and she's leading shit.
Yeah,
like nobody hates us anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know, like
I don't know. I think I'd be a little bitter if a city tried to lynch me. I think I'd be a little bitter about it for a while.
Well, before I think we can talk about Thancred's change, we need to go back to the anti-tower after cutscene and talk about Minfilia.
Well, yes, because Minfilia...
that's what's causing Thancred's to change, in my opinion.
Minfilia now is... she refers to herself as the voice. The voice of the Mother Crystal, Hydaelyn. And it's implied through that scene that they have become a singular entity now. And it is, and then there's a whole bunch of cryptic shit. They explain a lot about Zodiark.
Yeah.
And that whole thing is very confusing, because it's like, then you start getting into like, and then they were divided by 3 and 10, and I'm like, when did we put in Final Fantasy Type 0? What's going on?
Class confirmed, calculator class.
But I mean, like, it's not entirely certain what's going on, and it's implied through the end of that cutscene that the Hydaelyn is losing power. She's tried 7 times to prevent the Calamity, or stop the Ascians, or stop Zodiark from being rejoined, and she's failed 7 times, and now she's lost. Apparently, the end of her power was sent to put you back to the shore of the ethereal sea. So,
not the best track record for a goddess that we all worship.
Yeah, I think I want to switch sides.
Yeah,
well, I'm on the losing side here, and
I'm also like kind of pissed at her. Like I didn't really. I feel like Minfilia had no choice in this matter. She's like, everyone's escaping. Minfilia is literally about to escape with you. She's totally safe. And all of a sudden, Hydaelyn's like, nope, I'm going to use you because I can.
But
and
to
she's
say
like,
she had no choice.
Okay. She didn't. No, Hydaelyn pretty much forced her to become her vessel, to become her voice so that she could speak with us and then go, oh, well, shit, I'm out of power. Boom. Minfilia's exploded.
I disagree. Minfilia, stopped, listened, and then just stood there. It's not like she was like, yeah, she didn't, shake her head.
What's going to happen if she says, sorry, goddess, I'd rather save my ass than help the goddess? Like, what do you think would really happen if she said that?
I feel like Minfilia is more than happy to give her life for the goddess.
But the thing is that, I don't know, the goddess, what did she do with Minfilia's body? What did she, all she did is she took her and exploded her. What did she actually accomplish by using Minfilia? Literally nothing.
All right, Nika, heart-to-heart time. We need to talk.
Hearts and farts time.
Is Minfilia your bae?
No.
She's joining the ranks?
Waifu?
She's
Waifu,
not.
yeah.
She's not.
Mm-hmm.
She's just my bro.
Waifu.
So she's like Meryl Webb.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just a little bit closer than Meryl Webb because Minfilia is a little more personable. Meryl Webb's a little more standoffish.
Meryl Webb and Minfilia.
No, the relationships I have between Meryl Webb and Minfilia, not their actual personalities.
No, I'm not saying personality-wise. I'm just saying,
one's way better.
Meryl Webb is a badass, and I respect her because she's awesome, whereas Minfilia is more of a personal friend/leader.
I feel like both those characters are so utterly terrible.
Oh my god, Meryl Webb is amazing. Shut up. You do not disgrace her name.
Well, Minfilia isn't so much a person anymore as she is an entity, and...
But is Minfilia gone forever? That's my question here. It looks like she literally exploded into a million crystal shards.
Okay, well,
this is Square Enix. We'll go find the crystal shards. We'll put her back together.
Maybe.
We'll see her again.
We need some super glue, guys.
Yeah.
Maybe the body is exploded, but I'm not even
She's gonna come back and look totally different with a new epic badass outfit.
I mean, right now Minfilia is part of Hydaelyn, right?
Yeah.
She's part of the Mother Crystal, so Minfilia's entity is within the Mother Crystal.
But it made it sound like she didn't have enough power to even keep Minfilia's form stable. Her power is
But I don't feel
gone.
I don't feel like we saw the end of Hydaelyn. I feel like we're going to restore her in some aspect.
But what if we are? What if we?
Does that mean we'll restore Minfilia too?
Of course. We have to recharge the Mother Crystal with ether batteries, double Ds or something, and
I don't know. Minfilia does not have double Ds. I don't think so.
Triple E's. Them boobies, though.
Those are C batteries at best.
They're a lot bigger than fucking Mikote boobies.
Now,
I'm not arguing that.
Let's just step back from the narrative for a moment. And
you're gonna say let's step back from the boobies.
No, let's step back. Let's step back from the narrative for a moment and consider that Square Enix has implied the death of multiple characters that they've brought back.
Yes.
I mean, we saw the Sultana get poisoned. If
death has no meaning in this game,
it really doesn't.
What he said.
Unless you are a Rogadin, apparently.
I fully believe we will see Isael, Orshafant, and Moonbrita again.
Orshafant has a grave.
They all have graves. It doesn't matter. We're gonna see them again. They're all gonna come back. Doesn't matter.
I think we'll see them in some kind of dream flashback at the very end of all the Heaven's
we're going to restore
story.
Hydaelyn, and she's going to bring them back to life as our reward because friendship is the greatest thing ever.
Yeah, I do kind of feel like we're working towards at some point, we got to bring Minfilia back. But there is kind of this other thing going on where we do briefly check in with our other Scion friends that we haven't met face to face yet, Yida and Poplimo, and
very briefly,
at the end of the story.
Exactly, yeah. But they seem to be questioning whether, and we don't know who they're talking about, but they're we don't know if they are who they say they are. And I don't know, to me, that may be applied to Thancred and Y'shtola.
No. What? Why would you say that?
Because, well, I think that would be interesting if it was. I don't know why it would be, but I mean, they're setting something up there.
I feel like if you were onto something, we would have like NPCs that are like untargetable off like the beaten path of the MSQ, like just like standing around or whatever. Kind of like in Hildebrand when there was that one that one Lalafell that was just like stalking the Mikote. And I feel like if they were like trying to determine if Y'shtola and Thancred are who they say they are, I feel like they would be kind of hinting towards that.
See, right Teddy thinks they're onto Urianger, which could be possible. Or also maybe they're talking about the Warriors of Darkness.
Yeah, those are both good points. It could be the Warriors of Darkness, but we do see them briefly, and Thancred is tracking them.
The Warrior of Darkness.
The Warrior of Darkness, right. And so that... he and all we saw is him observe the events of...
Okay, was that really him? I thought it was him, but he had different clothes on. And so Surin was like, no, I don't think that's him. I think it's someone else.
No, that's definitely him.
The Warrior that's what I thought.
That has to be the Warrior of Darkness.
Okay, totally that's what I thought too. But you literally just like glance back and see him, and then he walks away.
Yeah, and Thancred is shown to be following him.
What I really wanted out of that cutscene is to have the Warrior of Darkness like staring at us, walk away. Thancred staring at the Warrior of Darkness, and then he walks away. And then we are watching Thancred, and then we walk away. And the Warrior of Darkness comes back in, sees us walk away, and then he walks away. And just keeps on going forever.
Walk-awayception.
Yeah.
What I always figured the change of Thancred's personality was that he's a lot closer to Minfilia than I realized. I'm trying, like, the timeline doesn't line up to me. Like, okay, the one point, like, he referenced that after Minfilia's father died during a parade shenanigans, which was a reference to 1.0's
the 1.0 opening cutscene.
I remember that cutscene, yeah.
Was 1.0's opening cutscene in the present day? Or was it a flashback to the past? Or was it happen again? Because when you meet Minfilia, she is much older than 10 in the 1.0.
That's because the opening cutscene in 1.0 Ul'dah was a flashback.
Was a flashback, okay.
Right, because you wake up on the cart, right?
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, exactly. You wake up on the cart, and that was all a vision of the Echo. You were there. Right. The only reason that you're there is because you have the Echo, and the Echo displayed that to you.
That's what I was trying to remember.
And it turns out that was an incredibly significant event. I mean,
so they said that Thancred takes care of Minfilia from that point on, but then when does Flamine adopt her? I'm trying to figure out the timeline here, and something's not lining up in my head. He told him, like, you have taken care of Minfilia long before I ever did.
Right.
But I thought that Minfilia, like, thought of Flamine as her mom, because that's how long she's known her.
Well, maybe it's more of a bodyguard thing than, like, a taking care of thing. Like, he's always watched over her in some way, but maybe not directly, like, taking care of her. I don't know.
Now, I don't remember the events of the 1.0 storyline 100% clearly, but I don't think that Flamine was... No, she was the flower girl in that opening scene, wasn't she? In that parade.
Was she?
I think she was. So, you're right. Something, I don't know, there is something weird there, and it may be the writing, and it...
See, what I thought was that, like, it seems like Thancred is, like, deeply in love with Minfilia, but what I was getting from that is that I almost thought that they maybe have, like, a snake and the boss type of relationship, like, goes deeper than love. And I was thinking that, like, since Thancred has watched over her for so long, the fact that she is gone has ripped him to shreds. That's what I'm getting from this.
Well, definitely, they imply that a lot of his darker shift has been because Minfilia is gone, but it's very out of the blue for me. Like, I never realized they had any kind of real bond until just now. It feels a little thrown in. They didn't do a lot to show that at any other point in the story.
Yeah, I mean, it is implied, I mean, through that 1.0 cutscene that, yeah, he does sort of, like, take care of her after that, but it really hasn't been expressed through the character relationship.
Yeah, I can't think of any point during 2.0 or 3.0 before now where they've shown that in any way.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but that's probably just more towards bad writing, and now they're kind of pseudo-retconning it now.
You think?
Probably.
I mean, the writing staff did change from 1.0 to 2.0, right? The whole team did. Am I correct?
I don't know. I don't think that the entire team did.
No? Okay.
I don't think so. Anyway, so that's just some interesting stuff. And then we see Heidelin starting to lose power towards the end of it, and possibly even, I mean, as Nika had pointed out, it possibly even shatters or breaks at the end, or at least Minfilia's form does. And so, I mean, it really does sort of like raise the question, okay, what happens to Minfilia from this point on?
She's still gonna be part of like the Mother Crystal and Heidelin and stuff. Like
even if you think if we do revive her, like, do you think we'll actually get her back as part of the Scions, or is she gonna be part of Heidelin forever?
I hope not. No. I hope she stays part of Heidelin.
She will stay part of Heidelin.
I think that's the right move.
Like at this point, like in 2.0, like Minfilia was like all like the tech or like the leader of the Scions and stuff, but like everyone like made fun of her. So in my mind, this is like, well, we have to make Minfilia even more important to the story and like put her on a pedestal even more. So now she's part of the fucking Mother Crystal, and now she's a super glorified quest giver and shit.
And it gives the opportunity for someone else to step up as the new leader of the Scions.
Yeah, but you don't think that because she's, Minfilia and she's a main character, and because this is Square Enix, you don't think that they would maybe like give her back to us in physical form, and then every so often she'll like have God mode turn on while she'll speak to us as Heidelin, and then she'll turn back into Minfilia?
I could see SE doing it, but I don't think it's the right call.
You know what? Probably. Hearing that, it's just like, yeah, of course they're gonna give Minfilia a physical body back, and
of course
have her take her role as the leader of the Scions. But now she is.
But then she'll also have that special connection to Heidelin.
Yeah, now she has a direct.
Every time Heidelin needs to talk to us, her eyes will glow, and she'll hold her head, and then she'll open them, and she'll have this cryptic message from Heidelin, and then she'll turn back into Minfilia.
Which is such a bummer, because I feel like they're doing a good job of setting up Y'shtola to eventually lead the Scions.
Well, I mean, maybe they will.
I feel like that's a better way to go about it, and it gives us a reason to care about Y'shtola.
I thought Y'shtola's like dying.
Yeah, Y'shtola will eventually die because of her connection to the ether right now, but she's not going to die like tomorrow. She has quite a while left.
Well, I mean, and just kind of going back to the changes that Thancred and Y'shtola have exhibited, it sort of like it kind of raises the question, like, is that because of their time in the Ethereal Sea? Is that because of the hardships that they faced, or is it because there's something else going on that we haven't been told yet?
Some kind of aether corruption.
I think something happened to Thancred before we found him. I mean, he became very rugged and very like hardened to the world, and I feel like he must have struggled in the wild. But again, we're not entirely sure why he didn't like seek us out.
But he didn't seek us out, and he lost all of that sort of like that whole like braggart,
roguish
charm.
Yeah.
And now he's kind of like a scruffy, like, I'm so emo, like there's something in my internal self that I'm not telling anyone.
It seems very much outside of his character, and I think, I mean, if that's a reason to give a character a rewrite, I think that's a shitty reason to give a rewrite.
So
it's trying to make all the Scions have more personality, that's for sure, because in the first
but turning them all just like very stoic and straight-faced and serious is not the best way to always do that. I mean,
well, Thancred was already the only one who had any real personality.
Kinda, yeah.
I guess kind of Ida and Papalymo kind of did.
Yeah, they did.
But at least we know why Ida and Papalymo haven't sought us out, at least because they have some kind of objective that they're researching and they're doing a thing. Like, we don't really know. Like, we know Y'shtola was in the sea, she couldn't get out, but Thancred was there, and he was in physical form, and he was alive, and he didn't come after us.
Correct me if I'm wrong, didn't they mention that he's unable to use the Aether right now? Like, he's completely lost his Aetheric abilities? I feel like they said like that was kind of like their excuse that they gave for him not seeking us out, was that he couldn't use the Aetherite anymore.
Yeah, you're right. That is true.
That's interesting that it would do that for Thancred and not Y'shtola.
She seems to have gone the opposite way, where she's extremely powerful with the Aether now.
She's a mage, and she was inside of the Aether Sea the whole time.
Yeah, Skuro says in the chat his magic is sealed off. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's a ninja. He's not really. He doesn't have that connection to the ether like Y'shtola.
I could definitely see him.
Is he?
Yeah,
still. I'm pretty sure he's a monk now.
Yeah, I'm going with monk. I could definitely see them working some, like, especially with Thancred. I don't know about Y'shtola, but I could definitely see them working some story like where the Warriors of Darkness got to him first, or something to that effect, where something is different about him, and I don't know that it's.
Well, there's something different about the two of them, and we clearly we haven't been given enough information as to what. But I mean, I think that there's something more that's going on with the two of them.
Y'shtola's is literally just because now that she has that connection to the ether, she's kind of more knowing. Like, she has that kind of outside view of, like, I am a knowledgeable mage person. So I kind of feel like that her worldview has changed simply because of her time in the ether. Thancred, on the other hand, I'm not entirely sure. But I also think that would be kind of lame, because you remember back at the end of early on in the 2.0 story, Thancred was the one that was possessed by the Ascians.
Right.
And I feel like, why do they keep fucking with Thancred?
They keep going back to him again
like,
and again.
if this is really something the Warrior of Darkness have done to him, like, why Thancred?
Yeah,
leave him alone.
No, I mean, I get it. Yeah, that's a good point.
Hey, if Final Fantasy IV has taught us anything, is that once brainwashed, always brainwashed.
All right.
Well, for Y'shtola, I feel like she was always kind of that person who knew more about the Aether and magic and all that stuff, but and she didn't really speak about it as much, but you always got the hint that she knew more about it than she was letting on. Maybe they're just expanding on that now. Letting her, like without Minfilia there, maybe she's just more open to letting on that side of her and trying to lead a little bit. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, clearly something is going on. We don't know.
Maybe he sealed off his own magic because something did change him, and he knows that if he was to still have his connection to the ether, he would go dark or something. So he did it himself. That would be cool.
Can you seal off your own magic? Is that something people can do?
Well, he might either he somehow used the ethereal sea, or he went to the Warriors of Darkness. I don't fucking know, but it would be cool.
Can I take a vow of aetheracy and never teleport again?
Why would you do that?
Why would Thancred do that? That's the question.
Okay, so let's move on from the anti-tower and that whole discussion, which is really all we got in terms of Scion follow-up. I mean, there wasn't really much more in terms of Scions, and then we are redirected back to Ishgard to get Falcon's Nest ready for this Dragon
Peace Summit.
Nothing good ever happens in Falcon's Nest, ever.
Peace Summits.
Nothing ever good happens in Peace Summits.
Yeah, especially in Square Enix Peace Summits, something always happens.
So early on, we see that the residents of Falcon's Nest are pretty uneasy about the Peace Summit, and
some of them,
there's a faction that has banded together that really does not believe that this is in the best interest of Ishgard.
Even the people who do think it is are still kind of uneasy because of the history.
Yeah.
So everyone's kind of on edge.
And so when you go into the tavern, you are given the Hearts and Farts Cocoa Special. And
is that rape drugs? Gate rape?
Yeah, Rohypnol.
We promised we'd never talk about it.
So by the time you wake up, they just drug you long enough so that some bitch can get up on a pillar and yell
doesn't, like,
her head
lock
off.
you up. Like, she owns that bar. You go into the bar.
No, she doesn't own that bar. She's just there helping out.
She's a barkeep.
Malcathera is a stream whore known by all, never misses an episode from winter to fall. He tried to sing once but dropped the ball. But today he needs some sex toys, so he's off to the mall. Hashtag potato odin.
Oh, nice.
She not he Thor, but nevertheless, good song.
Yeah. Yeah, no, good. Nice job. Well done.
Okay, so I'm thinking, so she's a barkeep. I feel like if she was going to drug me, why wouldn't she, like, lock me in the supply closet or something so that I couldn't get out and, like,
she's a volunteer bar wench. She doesn't own the bar.
Yeah, but, like, why? Yeah, but like I said, why not hide her in the supply closet or something? Like, why? Literally, it's a busy bar. You drugged me. I passed out. I'm going to get drugged. This is not going to work out. Don't drink it. Why are you drinking it? Oh, and there we go. We're passing out. I expected to wake up with, like, the town on fire or something like that, and, like,
yeah, me too.
The summit to be ruined. Instead, I wake up 5 minutes later, like, hey, there's a problem. We should probably go check it out. And, like, wow, this is a shitty plan. You're awful at this.
Yeah, not plan was not great. Not executed well.
Well, maybe the bar wench was like, if I just leave him on the floor instead of tying him, like if I tie him up and like try to like detain him,
then you have kidnapped.
He might like try to like kill me, and he's like a really strong dude, so maybe I'll just like.
So this way, it just looks like I drank too much and passed out, and it's not her fault. Is that what we're going with?
By the way, take notice, villains of Final Fantasy XIV. If you want to off the Warrior of Light, poison her hot chocolate.
Yeah, it's poisoning a drink seems to be kind of a repeating theme.
Yeah, except it never works.
Yeah.
You learn from every JRPG you should never accept a random drink from someone you don't know.
Didn't you learn from the Sultana?
Yes.
Yeah.
From now on, if my character drinks anything ever again that I didn't make myself, I'm quitting.
Oh, well, don't worry. It happens an hour or two later.
So...
Alphinaud, as I trust Alphinaud.
Why? He started the Crystal Braves.
Yeah, why
set it all up?
Why would ya?
Things because they're idiots.
He's behind all of it.
You know what? I called that so many years ago. Is that he was gonna lead an uprising, and I was half right.
He did, just unintentionally.
He didn't lead it.
Well,
he kind of did.
He didn't not lead it. He didn't stop it.
Well, that's true.
I still hate that story arc so much.
He made it.
I'm a create a private army that operates outside the bounds of the three companies. But first I have to get the permission of my private army that operates outside of the bounds of the three companies. What?
Events unfold. The woman who drugs you ends up giving a big speech about how this is all a sham, and a Manolin, who is currently in charge of Falcon's Nest,
making shit doesn't go down.
Yeah, just like dude, the guy's actually gone for like 10 fucking minutes, and it's just like within this small window of time, everything just goes to shit. He ends up giving an order to stop her, which one of the soldiers takes as an order to fire an arrow into her chest.
Pretty legitimate assumption. Like if your guy yells "stop her" and I'm the guy holding the bow and arrow, I'm like, you probably want me to shoot her.
Why don't you just run up? Why don't you just run up the fucking stairs that are right next to her and grab her and shut her up? It doesn't mean shoot her.
Okay, but he shot her the first time, and I'm like, okay, she's like down for the count. Why shoot her a second time? That's what I didn't understand.
Because she kept yelling.
Yeah, but she's also down. She can't do any harm. Now you shot her once. She's down on her knee. Go grab her now. Go run up there. Arrest her. Fine. Why shoot her a second time? That was the guy with the bow's bad judgment. I would not blame Manolin for the second shooting.
I would.
That was the guy.
Well, I mean...
the reason they shot her again is so she could get an arrow to the chest and then die, but just kidding, this is Square Enix, and
Nobody dies. Nobody ever dies.
She's like nice. She's like healed enough that she can be walking around the very next day at the actual Peace Summit.
Yeah, so no one should give a shit.
She said she was in critical condition and that she might not make it, and yet the next day she's walking around like she's fine.
By the way, line of this patch is, she begged to be here for the Peace Summit. I could see no reason to say no. Really? You couldn't think of any reason to say no?
Also, I want to point out that she's the only voiced character we've had that is like Scottish and not British. Did anyone else notice that?
No, not.
And of course, she's the one who wants to start a rebellion.
She was the only voiced character that did not have a British accent. I think it was Scottish.
Yeah, no, didn't notice that.
Yep. And I was like, all right, so you're gonna stereotype and brand them that way. So anytime anyone else has that accent,
that's right.
Look out.
Well, I just,
she's the bar wench who wants a rebellion. Of course,
I sort of just think it's really interesting that I feel like there's a bit of social commentary that's wrapped up into this specific part of the storyline.
Scottish people are lowborn?
No. That's not what I was saying.
Oh,
if you look at this as the guards as police officers, I think that's a pretty bold statement to make in your fantasy RPG with this kind of storyline. You've got an authority that is basically gunning down what is essentially a protester. And I think that's a pretty brave choice on the part of Square Enix, given a lot of the social and political climate here in America. And I'm curious if anyone else picked up on that, or if I was the only one.
Definitely. And what was interesting about it is when you're watching that scene after she gets shot, you sit there thinking like they're trying to end a war between us and the dragons that's gone on forever. And it's like, what do you do? What is the appropriate response there?
Yeah.
Probably not shooting her twice with arrows, but at the same time, like, what should have been done?
Right.
And you almost, like, for a brief moment, you did feel for a Manolin.
Yeah.
Because he's like, he is not ready for that situation. Of course, it happens in the 10 minutes his brother's gone, which, of course, was by design.
Right.
But... damn, he's probably sitting there thinking like, what the fuck was I supposed to do? Which actually, that's exactly what he asks.
You know, props to that guard archer guy, because that takes a lot of skill to shoot her in the shoulder and then shoot her in the chest, but not kill her.
Yeah.
That dude's a fucking sniper.
Yeah.
Promote that guy.
Non-lethal takedowns.
Yeah.
Should have been firing a beanbag arrow.
Oh God!
Shut up.
Oh God!
Anyway. So in order to sort of make amends for this, we are participants and privy to the Grand Melee. So I'm kind of,
which just came out of nowhere.
It came out.
By the way, Grand Melee.
Nowhere.
Yeah, it's like the Grand Melee was cool, but it's like, okay, we're literally like everyone's on the brink of being crazy. Let's just fight each other for fun to boost morale. What? Like, what they made it sound like was that it was some kind of Ishgardian tradition, that when Ishgard used to be part of the Eorzean Alliance, this was a thing, and now that we are once again part of the Alliance, they're, like, bringing it back.
I did not get that.
I did, no sense of that.
It was, who said it? It was, I want to say it was either Merlwib or Nanamo. One of them said to Aemeric, oh, it's good to see that Ishgardian traditions are being upheld once again, or something like that. And I just kind of figured, oh, okay, this must be a thing that's happened before in Ishgard, or something like that.
No, I think you're lying.
No,
Ishgardian traditions are being upheld. Solve political unrest by fighting each other.
I like how they made a mini game for a single event.
It's like, I want to see that as a PvP match.
Yeah, I sat there saying, like, are we like getting a tutorial for the feast?
Yeah,
Is that what this is?
It was way out of nowhere. I mean, in terms of like a MSQ quest, like thing to do, it's pretty inventive. I gotta give you that.
And it was fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Enjoyed it.
It was well presented, and I like how the rules of the game sort of led into your final matchup against Rauban.
Yeah, because it's like everyone with a tether is worth more points. I thought it was so cool.
Yeah, no, they did a really good job. It's just it came in so out of left field that I was like, I was caught a little bit off guard by it. But I have to, they did do a really impressive job.
And the showdown with Rauban and just
was so cool.
Yeah, like something you've known would happen eventually.
Yeah.
But like you sat there thinking, like, how would they ever work that into the lore where I have to fight Rauban?
What bothers me about this whole Grand Melee thing is like they're trying to boost the morale of Ishgard. Obviously, everyone's shaken up after the thing with the chick getting shot or whatever, and they're on edge about the dragon. So sure, if Ishgard wins, we're going to boost morale. But if it wasn't for the Warrior of Light, Ishgard would not have stood a chance.
Well, and everyone kind of acknowledges that fact,
so how does that really boost morale? Like,
because we're all supposed to be smarter than the regular soldiers.
You know, Amaric's been flirting with me, and I kind of like went, oh, okay, you got me. I'll join your side instead. Like, really, I started in Ul'dah, and I'm part of Limsa's Grand Company. I have no reason to fight on the side of Ishgard, but because I did, I don't say that Ishgard's morale would really be raised, because I feel like the average person would be smart enough to be like, oh, well, if the Warrior of Light wasn't on our team, we wouldn't have won.
Now, okay, here's your problem. The average person is not smart enough to realize that.
Well, and I wouldn't say you have no reason to fight for Ishgard. They did take you in when you were a refugee. Like, you had nowhere else to go in Eorzea.
I have a much longer and stronger connection with the other three nations of Eorzea.
Not in Heaven's Ward, you don't. Let go of the past, Nika.
I don't know. I just feel like how much morale can you really raise if, like, without the Warrior of Light who just happened to be on your side at that moment in time, that you wouldn't have won.
Okay,
that means your generals and your warriors are really not that strong.
Okay, Nika, it's basically a sports game. Does anyone really care if Joe quarterback carried the team? No, they care about the team winning. That's all they care about. Oh, yay, Ishgard won. Oh, we got carried by the Warrior of Light.
And
whatever.
That might be a huge morale booster for them to say, oh, the Warrior of Light who came from these other lands chose to be on our team.
That's true.
And chose to wear our colors. Like, that would be a huge morale boost, I feel like.
If it was me, I'd be like, but our own soldiers and our own guys really aren't that strong.
By the way, I want to complain about something. Why did they give us the grossest armor ever?
We had to wear
That's hearts and farts.
It's the worst armor.
Mr. Jack loves cocks, penises, pork, swords, and dongs. Big ones and small ones and all type of schlongs. He doesn't like vaginas because he thinks they look wrong. But he will try anything after a hit from the bong. #PotatoDin.
Wow.
Okay.
They're getting more and more creative as we go on here. And that just totally derailed.
I just thought it was weird that they didn't even sew up the hole in the armor. Like, it was really cold on the tummy right there.
Wait, was that actually Harsh and Fart's armor?
No.
It would have been better if it was.
It's true.
No, it was just Ishgard's colors.
Yeah.
I like the idea.
They have hideous colors and armor, by the way.
I love the idea of my character drowning in Orshafant's robes as she's trying to walk around. I think that's hilarious.
We lose because the Warrior of Light can't function in this awful armor.
Bogged down in awful armor.
It's so hideous.
The power of the Warrior of Light is not from his lightness. It's from his glamour, his gear.
And then and there was another moment where they forced removed your helmet too. And I was not happy about that.
Oh, I never have my helmets on because I like my face.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do a lot with facial expressions in this game.
No.
Wait. They take off your helmet. I thought that was your head. So
it is my head.
You were headless.
That's right.
It was weird.
It was weird.
You had no head.
It was a weird cutscene.
That sounds very weird.
It was like a black hole of where a head should be.
Yeah. I'm surprised no one freaked out, honestly.
You know the Shadow Man from the Hildebrand side quest? That's sort of what my face looks like.
Oh, that's creepy.
That is creepy.
It is creepy.
But I did have that moment as the Grand Melee was starting up and the three leaders of the nations were sitting down where I was like, hi, Connie, Senna, please don't look at me. I'm sorry.
So yeah, the Grand Melee in terms of an event in and of itself, that was fine. I thought its placement in the MSQ was cool. Just seemed very, I don't know, out of left field.
Shoehorned in.
Yeah, the shoehorning. So then that gets us to the Peace Summit. And
right back where we started.
Yeah, right. Yeah, literally, that was of no consequence to the story at all.
We had to go to Mount Doom and back to restore the status quo.
Everyone's happier now.
Are they?
They're happy that Ishgard won.
Okay, you know what? Nameless Archer got to shoot an arrow through some protester, so yeah, he's happier.
No, he was upset. And so was the Manolin.
No,
the Archer's he's a super big dick.
Well, the Archer just gets to sit at home because he's on administrative leave.
We should take a moment.
He's not getting fired. He's not getting his pay is not getting docked at all. He's just not having to do his job
ever again,
because that's what we do with. Never mind.
We should take a moment though to discuss Emanolin's character growth that he does see between the Archer moment, the punch square in the face, and the Grand Melee, because he does really develop as a character through that period.
I think he is a very realistic character. Like, if he was alive in real life, he's like the youngest of all of them, right? And he was put in charge of this, and he tried to make the best decisions, and it all went to hell, and he was really upset about it, and then he grew as a character. He, I think, so far has had the most character development out of any character in this game.
And a broken nose will do that.
Well,
it'll make you reevaluate some things. Like Aniro, a controller in the face will make you reevaluate some things.
Definitely will.
Yeah. So maybe that he had that moment where he got clocked and he's like, maybe this is on me. Maybe I need to take a look at where I'm at in my life. And he does. Very much so.
Well, we get introduced to his squire? Is that what he's called?
I had to work very hard not to make jokes about that.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, we do get a lot of character development out of him because apparently he's the first pederast that we've ever met.
The ambiguously gay duo.
Which that squire's very young. That squire is very, very young.
Yeah.
Well, we heard that you're gay.
And his reactions are
I kind of thought of it as like a big brother thing.
No, come on.
You don't think that if that was like his brother, he wouldn't feel the same way? I kind of thought that he had that kind of relationship with him because he's a squire he took in, obviously, and has cared for a long time. Like, that doesn't have to be romantic feelings. I did not get that. Like, honest to God, I didn't even think of that until you guys just brought it up.
Admittedly, anal intercourse, Maui Zowie.
Admittedly, in 3.0, when that character was first introduced, I thought that character was like the youngest brother of the family, but they obviously snuffed that right out. And I was like,
and that's what makes it awkward. That's what makes it awkward. Like, I guess if it was his brother, like, that would make a little bit more sense to me.
A brother figure.
I don't know.
Did they say where he came from? Like, was he taken in by them?
If that's what they're trying to imply with that scene, Nika, they did a very, very poor job of establishing that, because his concern bordering on panic was
that's your penis.
But see, I also felt like it was part of the whole everything I try to do goes wrong. Like, he's like, oh my God, I'm the first time I'm ever in charge of anything. I do this to my squire and he gets practically killed. It's all my fault. Holy shit, I suck at everything. I fuck life. Like, that's what I was getting from him. Not that he was in love with him.
Get in the robot, Shinji. Okay, look, it's...
No, I mean, that's what I was getting from him. I was seeing his character. He was tearing himself apart because every time he made an order, somebody got hurt. And that was the character development I was feeling. Not any kind of romantic feelings between him and the person himself. It was more like, everything is my fault and people are dying because of me. I am a horrible, horrible leader. Fuck me.
Well, he is a
That's
horrible,
what I
horrible
was
person,
getting.
and leader.
That's what I was getting. Not that there was actually romantic feelings there.
Yeah, see, I don't know. I got the other side of it, that where his concern for that kid was just out of nowhere. Like, he literally runs out of the room to go find him, and it's like, this is the first time that character has ever been mentioned or shown to us on screen. And we're like,
dude,
they're like, where's your squire? He's like, oh, where is my squire? And he like runs out of the fucking room. Like,
Bruno has a good point in the chat that the kid said the battle scars will make the ladies like him. So there.
Well, that's not wrong. I don't know like very much like knight lore from like what knights would have been like. Were knights close to their squires?
They were.
Yeah. Okay. Well, fair then.
Girl, please.
I don't think that if he was actually in some kind of relationship with Amanda Lynn, that he would say the ladies will like me now. Like, that's not a thing he would say. So you guys just like to look into everything being gay because for some reason you have gay on the brain.
Well, it's because Square Enix keeps trying to cover it up.
Yeah, no, it's Square Enix putting it in there, and it's you know what? It's just the gaydar is going off.
Listen,
like, it happens.
Orshafat took my gay best friend away, and I need to replace him somewhere. So I'm looking.
All this stuff like being gay all centers around Ishgard and their long poles. I think I'm catching on to you, Square Enix.
I don't know. I thought it was weird. But all right. So at the end, as we're talking to which of the dragons is it that comes to the thing?
Not Racefelger, but
no. That's what Vidolfnir.
Thank you.
Vidolfnir, she's the leader.
That's right.
She always is.
So yeah, Vidolfnir shows up and they unveil the new symbol, the peace symbol, which I actually thought was very well designed.
Yes.
I like that. It's a very cool symbol.
It looks very hard to clean, unfortunately.
Yes. Yeah. We'll get to that.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But they made a big deal about the symbol unveiling, and I thought that the scene that they did it in was very well done.
Yes.
That Eimerich's quotes were very good. You know, like his speech was very good.
Okay, I didn't understand that whole Emmerich thing with the Lucia.
Okay, we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that in just a second, because I think that actually has to do with something that's tied into the end. So we then see the return of Estinian and Nidhogg. Estinian comes back. He's got both of the eyes, like.
He's got the Mr. X thing going on. He's straight up Resident Eviling this shit, man.
Yeah, a little bit. Both of the eyes are like literally on his armor. They're going
to him.
Like in his armor.
It's fused to it.
And he comes in and spears the dragon, and
which nobody saw coming except literally everybody.
Actually, I didn't.
Oh, come on!
Really?
I mean, I thought maybe, but like when it actually happened, I was like, oh shit.
I think like it would have been much more effective on Nidhogg's part if he had just masqueraded as a Stinian. Like, why announce who you are?
Because you have giant eyeballs on your armor, dude. How are you gonna masquerade as a Stinian?
He's magic. He can fix
But
hide
the
it.
thing is that with how trusting all of us are, if he walked in, even with the eyeballs, and he's like, man, guys, I'm trying so hard to fight this, but right now I am a Stinian. I'm suppressing the darkness. We would believe him.
No,
So it's like, it's not that hard to lie in this game to the warrior.
Literally, if he just showed up and like was up on there and jumped down and speared Vidofnir and then ran off, we would be stuck trying to convince people, no, it wasn't a Stinian, it was Nidhogg. That would have restarted the war much more effectively.
That's what I thought was going on. I'm like,
that was my expectation.
I'm like, come on.
Right.
I thought we were literally going back to square one with this shit.
So did I. Yeah, but then it turns out Vidofnir's not dead.
Of course not.
Of course not.
Because no one can die.
Yep. Very important.
Her wounds are just being...
They're critical. It was very, very real.
It was touch and go.
But
it was like a 2.5K jump.
He's still using the fucking... whatever
still got
awful
the blood
spear.
splattered
Gable.
armor, which is what's
Gable,
driving me
that's
nuts.
it.
Yeah, he's got Gable going with a spine shatter dive. It wasn't good.
Why is he still wearing the bloody armor, though? Can you imagine how disgusting that must
He's
smell?
a dragon. Why does he care?
It's gross.
Because it's been imbued with the power of...
Dragon blood is magical, so it gives him magic properties.
That's right.
One of which is fastidiousness, which makes it not smell. The more you know.
Okay.
Does your ass hurt?
What?
Does your ass hurt? Because you just pulled that out.
If you would read up on dragon lore, then you would know this about dragon blood. Why do you think people drink it? So their insides smell...
No, they
peachy.
turn into dragons.
Who is this Juxta that I'm sitting next to?
Okay, so there were two very cryptic things that ended up happening, and both of them concern Imric. Imric says to Lucia that if he deviates from the script, that to just have her go along with it, and she says, of course, every time I do. And then the other thing that happens is, as we see Nidhogg flying away, we get a close-up of Amric, who is turned away from us, so we can't hear him, but we see him mouth something.
Right.
What do you think's going on here?
I'm like... I almost get the feeling that Nidhogg may have, like... just gotten in the way of what Imric had planned to do. Like, I almost feel like Imric maybe was planning a betrayal here.
What?
I don't know.
No way. No way.
Why would he deviate from the script then?
I don't think that betrayal is what he's talking about. I think that he's planning something so, like, the opposite of betrayal, but he's going to be doing it in such an extreme way.
Okay.
That other people may not agree with. However, Lucia will always follow him to the ends of the earth.
Why would he have to say that to her?
Yeah.
Like, you would just try, like, if he's going to say something that is going to be pro-peace, which is her goal as well as his, then why would he need to give her that warning?
Whatever he's going to do is even outside of the realm of comfortableness of Lucia. And he wants to give her a warning that what I'm about to do is probably not at all. When you say, I think by the script doesn't necessarily mean he's following a plan. But I think when you say, like, I'm not following, I'm going off the script, guys, I think it means that he's not sticking true to his, like, role as, Emmerich and what he's supposed to be doing in Ishgard. He's going to deviate so far from that what he could be doing is almost seen as not, like, traitorous or betrayal, but, like, so extreme that it's not befitting of his role in the nation.
What's he going to ask her on a date?
No, he's gonna do something so extreme, like, I don't know.
So why would they even? From a writing and narrative standpoint, if that was the case, that he had something planned, but Nidhogg showed up and ruined it, why would they show us in the first? Like, why would they show us that scene between Amric and Lucia? Like, why even bother? Because, like, as the audience, we didn't know that any of that was happening. That's basically what that is doing in terms of like, from a writing standpoint, is that setting up the audience's expectation to go, something's going to happen.
Right.
Yeah, well, I think it definitely is. A lot of people in the chat are thinking that somehow he was planning to sacrifice himself. And I'm thinking, I mean, Estinian is like his brother in arms, right?
Why would Amric...
There's got to be a way that he's going to be trying to somehow bring Estinian back, because he keeps talking about saving Estinian, right?
Why?
Somehow he's going to bring Estinian back by sacrificing himself to the dragon.
Why would Amric sacrifice himself to the dragons? What would that accomplish?
Wait, hold on.
Estinian.
No.
Why would it save Estinian?
How?
Amric is trying. Well, Amric keeps saying that they're going to save him no matter what.
I thought that was what Alfino wanted to do. That's not Amric who wants that.
Everyone wants to kill Estinian, except Alfino.
Yeah, Alfino is the one who wants to save Estinian.
Yeah.
Okay, what if, I just thought of this right now, what if Amric was going to drink dragon's blood to become a heretic or whatever, to like form more bonds with the dragons?
He'll turn into a dragon.
Don't dragons frown on that?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure dragons are not happy about that.
Yeah, I don't think...
don't like that either. Dragons and humans don't like that. But what if he thinks that by drinking dragon's blood, he'll become more powerful enough that he can fight Nidhogg?
No,
because clearly none of us have the power to stop Nidhogg, but he might think that if he does that... Because, yeah, if he says, forgive me from deviating from the script, now that Vidofnir is hurt, Vidofnir has blood available for the drinking. So maybe he just kind of thought of this, and he's like, okay, if I drink her blood, I will have her power, and then I can fight Nidhogg one-on-one.
But he says it beforehand.
Yeah.
It's beforehand that he says I might deviate from the script. I cannot fathom what it might be that he was planning on mixing up.
No, because I'm pretty sure, like, we constantly see heretics forcing people to drink dragon's blood.
Right.
And even in Snowcloak, we see heretics drinking dragon's blood, and they're fighting alongside dragons.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think dragons frown upon drinking dragon blood, because I think that just turns them more people to their side, right?
No, because the people that drink dragon's blood become kind of crazed, and they kind of turn between humans and dragons, and they're kind of uncontrollable. And that's not dragon.
No. I remember a side quest where someone drank dragon's blood, and she was like in control or something, and she was staying away from her.
Dragoon 50 to 60 is what you're thinking of.
Yeah. There you go.
But are the heretics aligned with the dragons?
Aren't they?
I don't think they're ever shown to be aligned. They were a separate problem that you were dealing with when you were doing Ishgard's story. Like they were a separate issue that Ishgard was dealing with. I don't think they were aligned with the dragons.
The Dragoon Quest has to stay away because if she comes close, she's afraid of hurting people.
Yeah, but the leader of the heretics was Ysael, and we get tons of exposition to.
Because I said the thing, you're like, oh, I can't even try to read his lips because it's probably in Japanese.
Right.
But
well, you can't read lips in this game anyway.
Yeah. I don't know. Very, very weird.
Yeah,
can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah, Nika,
did
you're
he
back
actually
now.
mouth it to Estinian, or was he just mouthing it like to Estinian's back? Like, did Estinian see what he mouthed?
No, I think he was just mouthing it as Nidhogg was flying off.
Okay.
Yeah, see,
So it's just like they're in cahoots.
I'm sort of thinking that we're dealing with like a Wag the Dog situation. Did you guys ever see that movie?
Wag the Dog? No.
Wag the Dog. This was basically, it was a movie that it had Dustin Hoffman in it. I can't remember who else. But it was a movie where there are White House workers who are staging a war, like a televised war, to be able to
keep the president in office.
Well, either it's keep the president in office, or it's like a means to an end to like do whatever
push a legislature or whatever,
something like that. Yeah. So if we're dealing with kind of like a similar-ish situation there, that it's entirely possible that Estinian and Imric could be in some kind of cahoots with one another.
Oof.
I don't think so, though.
Oof.
How would they even be in cahoots?
Well, think about it. The entire time you're going through Heavensward, Imric is every time you're talking to Imric, Estinian shows up, and then it's either like he basically forces himself on your party, and Imric is kind of complicit with that. Like he doesn't you have to take him, but
he's like, yeah, that's a good idea. Go ahead and do it.
Exactly.
And I mean, Imric has gained the most out of this. I mean, he's the leader of Ishgard now.
Right.
So out of all the events that have happened, he has stood to gain the most.
Okay, but are we are we really throwing doubt and suspicion onto Emmerich
My Bay
now?
would never betray us.
I knew that was going to come up.
Okay, well, Nika aside, Anira or Scalia, do you throw suspicion on him? Because I don't. I'm pretty trusting of Emmerich right now.
I am too. I don't think he's in any kind of cahoots with Estinian, but I do think there is a lot more going on with him than what we're privy to. I do think that he has something in mind that is not good.
Well, there's internal unrest in Ishgard. We know that. The highborn lowborn division is as strong now as it has ever been. So yeah, there is a lot at play. There are a lot of forces within Ishgard that would like to see him fail. There are forces outside of Ishgard that I think would like to see him fail, including the Asians and possibly even the Garleans, because we don't really...
I'm sure the Garleans would be very happy for Ishgard to not be able to help the Eorzean Alliance.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's... what is implied at the end of 3.2 is very interesting.
Okay, another thing I just thought of is like... right before Emmerich talks to Lucia, he kind of questions himself, like saying,
The internet is holding out and the stage is set. An hero is a Lala, a Taru, or a small pet. I like making donations, but it gets me in debt. But I make more money for LBR than Juxta in the bet. Hashtag red bait, hashtag potato.
That was good.
That was good.
Very
That was a good one.
Nice job.
Not true, but good job.
Pay your fucking cable bill. Hashtag Comcast sucks dicks.
Good hashtag.
Who was that from?
God damn.
69.
Thank you for that. But I do pay my fucking cable bill. Thank you.
I don't know why we pay it.
Seriously.
Did he donate the amount of your cable bill?
I don't know. What was?
He donated $5.
Okay.
Definitely not.
Right.
Definitely not.
All right. Anyway, Emmerich kind of is, before he talks to Lucia about the peace, he's kind of like waffling back and forth, saying, maybe, like, am I really doing the right thing? Like, the Lowborns have a point with, like, what have they been dying for, kind of thing. Am I making that up, or did that kind of happen?
Well, I think he recognizes that change is always painful and it's always very difficult to have happen, but I don't know that he's necessarily waffling on the fact that it needs to happen.
Waffling with peace with the dragons?
Yeah, I think he's very committed to it happening. I just think he's recognizing that we're pushing a lot of change really fast, and it's going to be harder for some people to accept than others. Which, I mean, like, this story does a good job of pointing out, like, the narrative of, like, these people are upset because they've lost family members and they've been at war for so long, but at the same time, their solution is more war. You know what I mean?
Right.
And, like, learning how to grieve without holding on to that hatred is kind of a theme of 3.2. But I don't know. Like, it's definitely weird how Emmerich handled that, the mouthing of something, talking to Lucia beforehand. I feel like we look at Thornton, who was very misguided. I don't necessarily think he was evil. He thought he was doing the right thing, like so many Square Enix villains do.
Yeah.
And in a certain light, he really was trying, like, doing the right thing, even if it was horribly misguided. And we might be seeing Emmerich starting to walk down that same path, where he's going to do whatever it takes to make his ambitions come true, because he believes they're right.
Point of him saying that he was going to not follow and be like his father. He was going to do everything better.
But that's kind of the irony of it, isn't it?
I guess.
I mean, I think a lot of us strive not to be our parents, but we all end up kind of being our parents. Maybe we're going to explore that theme a little bit. I don't know.
It's whatever they're setting up here. I'm interested to see what it is, and I hope it's not. I hope it's not the classic Square Enix like version of misdirection that they do, which is like, hey, here's a cryptic thing, and then, like, the next patch we get an explanation of exactly what that was.
I would like some explanations of what's going on, but that one they could let simmer for a little.
Tomorrow are going to be the bridge that takes us to Alamigo. Because
yeah, I mean,
definitely. They're basically, in my head, they're like doing stuff in Little Alamigo, in that general area. What is that? South Thanalan? Central Thanalan?
Something Thanalan.
Something Thanalan.
Then we should probably revisit whether we think that they're talking about the Warriors of Darkness not being who they say they are. They're probably investigating people claiming to be Alamegans.
That's what I think.
That would be my guess then, if that's what's going on, if that's what the bridge is going to be.
Yeah, I mean,
That's true, because not a lot of Alamegans actually got away.
Right. So the one, like, maybe they're with a band of people claiming to be Alamegans, and that was their escape from Ul'dah. But now they're starting to wonder, like, these guys might not be who they say they are.
It's possible. It's possible. Let's go to the phone lines. Hopefully, if the phone lines will
keep us alive,
we'll stay up. And joining us, this is our first caller on Discord. Which, by the way, if you'd like to join our Discord chat, you can do so at limitbreakradio.com/Discord to be able to download or get access to the room or any information. Kookie will help get you on the air, just like she did for Strife. So, Strife Lightshade, thanks for calling Limit Break Radio. How's it going?
It's going pretty good. Thanks, Nero.
So what do you want to talk about in terms of 3.2, man?
So, in 3.2, with Metis coming out, a lot more people, at least from my perspective, seem to be into raiding than they were before. You were saying, I think, a week or two ago, the mechanics seem a lot better. It's a lot less about DPS checks. It's a lot more about knowing mechanics, learning the dance, and like practicing stuff like that. Do you guys see this as like momentum going forward?
Yeah, I feel like I've seen a lot more interest in trying Savage mode and trying to take that next step into raiding with Midas. I think they did a much better job.
Absolutely, and I'll say this again because I said this on the last episode, but they did it not through putting a big shiny at the end of the raid, but
by making their game fun.
Yeah, they did it by making the encounters actually fun and engaging.
Yes.
And so yeah, I actually do think that this bodes very well. And I also think that you're right. I've seen way more people attempting Sephiroth EX, attempting Savage mode, and actually getting through Savage mode in reasonable fashion. So
right. We lobbied forever for Glory Gear to be what brought people to raiding, and they kind of decided to go the other route with it. Just like, if we can make the encounters fun enough, people will do them, and that's fine. It's just that's a much harder trend to keep up.
Yeah, absolutely. What about you, Strife? What do you feel? Do you think that the raiding community is a lot more energized now?
So, from my perspective, it looks like, yeah, there's definitely a lot more casual interest in raiding. A lot more people are completing the normal modes for sure. I've seen a lot more pugs for Savage and the Party Finder across a couple servers, which is interesting. The only thing I worry about is that compared to other games that I've also played for years, it looks like they still don't have any plans to increase the number of bosses, and I worry, especially on a 6-month cycle between current raid content. Yes, we get the 24-man Void Arc and stuff like that, but for the 8-man real current raid content, there's a 6-month gap. And if we're going to have a 6-month gap all the time and they're only giving us 4 bosses like they did in 2.x, I worry. A lot of other games do like 12. Sure, half of them are crap, but hey, it's still more time to clear the content and it keeps people invested.
It's still variety too.
Right, exactly. So with such little variety and such low numbers in terms of number of bosses in a raid, can they sustain this going forward, even if with better mechanics and better engagement and things like that?
Oh, I think that's another great point, and I think that this is one that we've talked about before. But yeah, it seems like for the endgame community, those that are very much plugged in to these really difficult challenges, that you've only got 4, maybe 5 if you count whatever current EX is going around, encounters that you can do. And then, yeah, you've got to wait 6 months for the next piece of content that's relevant to you because, of course, the next patch that we get, the next actual patch that we get is going to be all catch-up stuff.
Right.
So, I think that those are very valid questions. And I think that this is what we're going to be... This is what we're locked into for the duration of 3.0.
Yeah.
And the only kind of hope that I hold out is what they end up adding to Diadem in the next patch cycle will be something that endgame players will also enjoy. Now, Square Enix has said that there's a desire for Diadem to be kind of middle ground content, and they probably won't end up putting an extreme challenge there. But I'd like it to, I mean, I think it would be good if it was something that was just that was just a little bit more difficult than what we had before. That was just,
they don't need to crank it up to 10, but crank it up a couple notches.
Yeah. So that may give the end game community, not necessarily the specific raid community, the 8-man raid community, the injection that it needs, but it's something there that's being added towards the end game of this game, and that's what the game needs more of. I think the problem that we've identified again and again and again is that there is really there's a big gulf between the amount of stuff that you can do as a casual middle ground player and the amount of stuff that you have to do if you're at the bleeding edge of content. Now, yes, those bleeding edgers still farm lore gear. They still, they still farm tomes. They still work on relics. Okay,
they still do all the casual stuff.
They do all exactly right, but they're also doing this hardcore stuff that 60% of the actual community doesn't end up ever messing around with, and I think Square Enix needed to do two things. They needed to get more casual-ish players back interested into raiding, which I think they've done.
Yep. Yeah. Mission accomplished.
And then now they need to start properly supporting that end of their game, because the bulk of content that we have is aimed at casual play. And it's fine. As long as they keep adding dungeons, as long as they keep adding easy alliance raids, then that's all fine. But there needs to be more than, you're right, just 4 fights at the top.
Yeah, you're right. And 5 months from now, we will be hungry for something new other than Midas. If they could supplement it with Diadem a little bit, that would be a big help. But you're right. You're getting all these people who are going to start trying raiding. And are all of them going to like it? No. But are a portion of them going to like it? Definitely. And once they've gotten that, they're going to need something to keep them there, something that's going to be interesting to them.
Right. So, Strife, I'm curious. What would you like to see in the next couple of patches that would that you feel would properly support this end of the community?
So there's a couple of things, right? Obviously, more bosses in the raid would help, but I don't know if we're ever going to get there until 4.x or whatever, and even then, who knows? But another thing would be, right now, they give us 2 or 3 dungeons a patch, 2 lately. Whether that's the current trend going forward or not, who knows? But basically, if they could give us not what they're... Right now, they use hard mode as a way to justify giving us the same dungeon with a different route.
Reusing assets, essentially.
Exactly. I'd like to see an actual hard mode where it's the exact same dungeon, same route, but the mechanics are much harder. Other games have done this, and it gives gear that's relevant to perhaps normal mode or higher of the current 8-man raid. That way, it's an alternate progression path.
You want hard mode to be kind of like when they do an extreme mode of a primal fight.
Basically,
I think they could do extreme dungeons, and just if you just increase the reward, whether it's more gear sets at right now. I think if you had gear sets that were like 200 to 10 that were coming out of extreme dungeons, that people would be running that to be able to gear up their other classes.
Right, and honestly, if you just change mechanics around and tune numbers differently and make it just a little different, that's not nearly the amount of effort from a game developer's perspective that new assets and design goes into. I mean, you're just redesigning the encounters a little bit and leaving the rest of the dungeon as is with buff numbers. That gives us some content. Sure, it's not the best, but it's something, and it's very little effort on them compared to other things.
No, you're absolutely right. And what they already do with hard mode, I think, is pretty cool by going and giving us a different perspective on dungeons that we already know. That's very cool from just a playing standpoint, and like an immersion standpoint. But you're right. They could literally reuse assets and just crank up all of the number values of the bosses and trash packs, and as long as the reward is worth the amount of time or effort that you're putting in, whether it's more tomes that are coming out of it, whether it's gear that's coming out of it, then I think you're right. I think that could be an exceptionally productive suggestion there.
Keeper of the Lake Extreme would be really cool.
I think it would. Yeah. I mean, there are lots of bosses that you fight in dungeon encounters that are really interesting, and if their mechanics hit more, hurt more, or you actually had to meaningfully deal with them, you know what I mean? Like, most of the mechanics in dungeons these days, you can kind of ignore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anti-Tower is easy.
Yeah. Well, both those dungeons are easy.
Yeah.
Amdapur, on that first boss with the moth, we actively try to fuck up the mechanics, and we still clear it.
I know. It's ridiculous. So
I had an Anti-Tower the other day. I was pissed about it afterwards, but I had a bard in my group who literally only used his little AoE volley move where he shoots up in the air on every...
That's not even the best AoE.
That's all he used the entire dungeon.
Oh, no.
Which was bad
Even
enough.
on the bosses?
Even on the bosses.
Oh, no.
Which was bad enough. But I tried to do a vote kick for him. The rest of the party wouldn't do it. I'm pretty sure they were in a group of 3 together and probably just trolling me. But what got worse about it is, as I've committed now to being effectively the only DPS in the group, then he started using my Limit Break 1 on every boss fight.
No.
Oh, no.
Oh, that sucks.
It was the worst.
I think you were getting trolled.
We still cleared without wiping.
Okay, he was just trying to apply evasion down for the healer.
That's right.
For healer DPS.
Yeah, thank goodness.
Duh.
Yeah, thank goodness.
Dude, seriously. So thanks, by the way, thanks for the call, Strife. If you'd like to call Limit Break Radio, you can do so. We've got a couple of ways that you can do that. You can send a Skype message over to Limit Break Radio on Skype, and Kooky will direct you here. 810-515-8715.
Fap loads up Pornhub. Fap turns up a small bit of sound but makes sure misses can't hear. Fap changes hands to avoid cramp. Fap tenses butt cheeks to enhance arousal. Fap gets to point of no return.
So long.
Fap Hadouken. Hashtag Ryuichi. Hashtag Potatoden.
That was so
you.
long that the image went away.
I know. It didn't. Yeah, it didn't even stay. Oh my god. Thank you, Thor. I
guess.
Yeah, I think
that was for Ryuichi.
Maybe.
And also, thank you, Strife, for calling in. Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, or on Discord, limitbreakradio.com/Discord. All right, so we got a little bit of, in just a very brief glance at the Warrior of Darkness, sort of overlooking the entirety of what was happening at the Peace Summit, and then walks off, and Thancred follows him, and we don't really know what happens then.
No, sure don't. That was literally a teaser that says, "Oh, hey, by the way, these guys exist. Please don't forget."
Exactly.
I mean,
don't
at
forget
least
about these
they did
guys.
acknowledge them, so that we're not totally oh, they just forgot about this plot line from the first section of this. No.
Yeah,
they're there. They're doing something in the background.
Yeah, almost.
I think that's literally the only reason it was included.
I mean, when they were introduced because they were fighting primals, right? And they were doing the shit that we thought we should be doing.
Right.
Right. And so they haven't even really had any evil intentions yet, have they? They're no, we're just better than you.
No, they literally went and beat up Ravana.
They are seen with the Ascians on the moon next to the Garlean space station.
You're right. That one, the Derplander was.
So
I don't know. I literally feel like someone woke up. Yoshi woke up the morning that the patch was dropping and was like, "Hey, did we put Warriors of Darkness in this patch anywhere? Oh God, make a cutscene." And that's how we got that. I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
And then we also got a very brief visit with Gita and Poplamo, who as we mentioned before, they are trying to figure out the identity of someone. We don't know who. Could be our compatriots, could be the identities of the Warriors of Darkness. I mean, it could be
the faction they're associating with right now. We have no clue.
Could it be
themselves.
Dun dun dun.
And introspection.
Could it possibly be that they're looking for the identity of the kid with the white mask? No, probably not.
I don't think so, because the primal storyline is very separate from.
I know, but while we're talking, I was using that as a way to transition. It's a segue. Thanks.
Okay, well, let's segue.
Thank you.
Eat a dick.
Let's do that, as I was trying to before.
Eat a dick?
No.
Oh.
Segue.
Oh.
So we're talking about Hildebrand now, right?
No, we're gonna let's talk about Sephiroth and the continuation of the Primal EX storyline. We've got the kid in the mask with the U name that I can't pronounce, and I'm not going to try. And
Ukulele.
He's hanging out in Minfilia's old office, and you go there, you talk to him, and he says, "Oh, you got to do the thing." What is going on in this storyline? Does anybody know? Does anybody care?
But every time we ever see this kid, he's basically like, "Hey, guess what? There's this new primal thing. You want to fight it? Let me show you how." And like he's been doing that for like 3 primals now, 4 primals. I'm like every X primal. I was like, okay.
I've got to. Yeah, but I mean, like, I've got to say that, like, is this going to be? If this isn't a character that we already know or give a shit about, why bother covering his face?
Yeah.
Like, if it's not, I'm going to be...
guys.
You think?
We'll find out who he is in 4.0 with the introduction of a new race.
No.
You know...
They did that once with Yagiri. I don't think they're going to hit that button again.
This is Urianger from the past sent to the future.
Whoa.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's deep.
Or, I mean, or maybe he has, like, red eyes, so he's actually, like, an Allagan descendant or something. So
well, at the end of the Sephiroth thing, one of the people said, was it Y'shtola that's like, I peeked for a second under that mask or whatever. Like, someone says that they saw underneath the mask for a brief second.
I think she's talking about like his like mask of like emotion.
Yeah, like he doesn't
not his
show
physical
any.
mask.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought she meant physical.
No, I think she meant that as a metaphor.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a metaphor, you assholes.
You can't make a mask metaphor about a character that wears a mask. It's very confusing.
I kind
Way to
of
go, Square Enix.
She's poking fun at the fact that he's all mysterious and wearing a mask. That's what Y'shtola does.
She's making a pun.
Maybe I'm just determined for someone to actually be evil, but I kind of like thought like, all right, so he had us like free this icon so that we could fight them. Maybe he's just like hoping we'll like free one of the icons and lose, and then this icon's running a rampage.
Well, I kind of feel like he's on our side.
Yeah, I mean, I do too. But and then you've also got at the end, toward the end of the Sephiroth storyline, you've got the Garleans that make their big return. Not big return, but very brief return.
As always, they do it spectacularly badly.
And it just like they've got some. I feel like that's where the Garlean stuff is going to be concentrated.
Yeah,
back
with the
at the
icons.
primals.
Yeah.
That's always their obsession.
That is. That's been their thing.
Eternal obsession.
Yeah. They're so trying to be the Allagan Empire, and they're just not.
It's every James Bond villain trope. Like he sees the Garlean there, and he's like, "Oh, you were very good to have recognized me, but you're not worth my time, so I'm not going to kill you now. I gotta go." And
how are you a superpower?
Yeah, that exactly. They're spectacularly awful.
We got a little bit more lore info about the continent of Mericidia. There were like tree-like beings that apparently were there before the dragons and before the the Mikote? Were the Mikote there? I forget.
Something.
Someone else. Some
assholes.
Someone else also came from Mericidia as well. But that's really about it. We get the very brief appearance of a Garlean at the end who disappears. And he seems...
Isn't this like a huge fucking letdown for how like big and powerful these icons are?
Yes, it is. It's absolutely a letdown because this should feel like a massive confrontation. It should feel like there are stakes here, and it's just like it's some kid in an office telling me we're like to go kill this fucking thing.
Yeah, it feels very, very weak. You want like this. These should be like this should be Ragnarok. Effectively, these guys reawakening and becoming free.
Yeah, I feel like somehow the normal modes or the hard modes should be part of the storyline. Like, even if it's, I mean, I know the MSQ is doing its own Ishgard thing, but somehow, like, in the middle of something, Sephiroth should have just broken out in Azizla and we had to go stop him. Like, everything else went on the back burner.
See, I was going to say that I actually do kind of like that they disambiguated it into its own storyline because it seemed really.
But it doesn't feel grand.
I agree. No, but I agree with you, Nika. But there's also this writing issue if you look at it from that standpoint, where it's like, how many times do they have to redirect us in the MSQ specifically to go and fight a primal or icon threat?
Yeah.
And that happened throughout the entirety of 2.0 to 2.55. Like, literally every fucking time. Minfilia is like, oh, it's Leviathan now, and there's another thing. Like, you know what I mean?
I agree, but the only issue is that, like, when you do it with the icons like this, you can continue doing the MSQ and advance the lore of the world, completely ignoring the supposedly grand threat.
Yeah, you could just not fight him at all.
You could do that with Crystal Tower, too, though. You could have done that in Crystal Tower, and that was a huge threat.
Was it? I thought Crystal Tower is more self-contained than that.
Yes, the Crystal Tower, too. You could just totally...
I mean, yeah, we were kind of exploring Crystal Tower as a thing. There was like no threat that...
This is like they're saying these guys are going to break free and end the world if we don't stop them.
Yeah, I think that is also partly the fault of Square Enix for having such a formulaic release of things. I feel like, they're like 1 primal per patch, 2 dungeons. With their formula, I feel like the Warring Triad, honestly, if it was going to be part of the main story quest, all 3 should break out at the same time and cause shit. But they're not going to do that because it's 1 primal at a time, la-di-da-di-da. So, I don't know.
I wouldn't mind seeing like a boss gauntlet run of all 3 primals at the very end of the thing.
And then the final fight is all 3 at the same time.
VTX Shiva makes a really good point that, like, Crystal Tower became more of a threat the more we explored and activated it and brought it kind of back to life.
That is a very compelling point.
We caused that issue. This is something that is happening because of something we did, by the way, in the MSQ. That's what brought us to Azizla and this big floating fortress. Like, the MSQ is what turned it back on.
But it just doesn't seem like a threat.
No, it doesn't.
For all of the machinations that exist up in Azizla, and for all of the stuff that this is supposed to be, Allegan, flagship. This is supposed to be one of their crowning achievements of their entire civilization, and it's just like, yeah, go up, do the thing.
The one thing I'll give them is that they do say Sephiroth is the weakest of the 3, and we're literally catching him as he's waking up. I wonder if maybe the next one or the third one we fight will have busted free, and there'll be more to it.
Yeah, I really do. I hope that they just add a bit more of a story foundation with Unkali or whatever his name is.
Ukulele.
Ukulele.
That's his name.
Ukulele. Because there really isn't much to latch onto there, and Azizla is the place that I am most interested in terms of a zone. The stuff that takes place there, I'm most interested in terms of like the Warring Triad stuff, and it's just like it's a huge letdown to get
absolutely no payoff from that zone at all.
Exactly. I mean, it is one of the coolest looking zones that they put into the fucking game.
Yeah. So was it Nika or Anira who mentioned it? Like, maybe at the end you get to fight all 3 at once in like some sort of divine might type story.
I would love
fight that'd be incredible.
That would be cool.
I can just, even if it's still like a circular battle arena, I'm just imagining like you've got one on the platform, you've got one flying and shooting you from the sky, and your team, like, even if it's not so, like, it would have to break from the formula. Like, you wouldn't just have to have like 2 tanks and whatever.
No, a
you'd
24-man fight against all 3.
Like, no, even just 8-man, because if it's 24-man, it's gonna be way too fucking easy. 8-man fight against all 3 primals where there's something different going on and your party has to decide like where to attack. Like, I know I'm dreaming, it won't happen, but
it would be cool.
I want something different.
And on a triangle platform.
Yeah.
I don't care what the fucking platform looks like, but I feel like one of them should be on the platform, one of them should be flying, diving in and out, and like the ones you can target will change, and you have to decide, you have to split your group up based on, which ones are targetable at the moment. I just think that would be so much fun, and it'd be a little bit more random and not so...
It'd be awesome.
Scripted. Like, just having like... I mean, I just have a feeling it's going to be the same thing. We kill Sephiroth, and then in the next one, we're going to kill the next one, and then in the next patch, we're going to kill the final one, and then, yay, we win. And there's not going to be a big climax, and it's going to feel just like we feel now. It's not going to feel like a threat. It's not going to feel fulfilling, and that's going to be that, and it's going to make me sad.
They definitely have to up the ante somehow. Like this one, like as an introduction to the icons, I would get it, but if that's literally all it's going to be for the other two, that's a major disappointment for something that should be major. Like we've been talking about the Warring Triad from a lore perspective now for over a year.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that was one of the and Square Enix does this too, where they'll throw cryptic shit out there and then they don't meaningfully follow up on it. Like we knew that the Warring Triad was going to be a big threat. Like a lot there, I know Juxta and I were both looking forward to what this storyline was going to be, and it's just there's nothing to grab onto. There's no meat to actually latch onto there.
They should have had Sephiroth like escape, and then like we're gonna fight him, but he like knocks us out or escapes or something.
That's
and then
what I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah,
and then starts like fucking up zones and shit, and makes it so this whole part of the Sea of Clouds is just like gone until you finish the storyline or something.
Yeah.
I thought
wow, that would be very outside the bounds of what SC typically does.
Yeah, and you know
it would be sweet.
Fucking Warring Triad should have been something to push the envelope.
I agree. I agree. It was a great opportunity to push the envelope that Sephiroth was a major letdown on. The fight is fun.
No, the fight is really the mechanics and the fun factor is definitely turned up. I will absolutely give them that. It's just in terms of a narrative story reason, I do not feel connected to that at all.
No.
At all. Nope. And it just would have taken a couple of more scenes, a couple of more things that we're doing, like really set like why this is important. And I actually I kind of have some of the same problems with Alexander too, and we'll talk about that in a second. But I want to go back to the phone lines here. We've got Paul Bunyan of Hyperion, and Paul wants to talk about the conspiracy of Imric and Lucia to bring Hraesvelgur's blood to the fight against Nidhogg.
Brood.
Okay, his brood then. So Paul, thanks for calling the show.
Gentlemen and lady, hello.
Hello.
Hi.
So let's talk. Let's talk about your conspiracy theory.
Okay. Well, Occam's razor is probably going to cut this down to ribbons, and any good theory or hypothesis deserves to cut to ribbons before it gets tested and whatever. So feel free to make fun of it. Anyway, here's my idea.
We will.
You're a hack.
Boo!
I expected as much. All right. So Emmerich has this plan to bring Hraesvelgur's brood into his fold, basically making them tactically a part of the Ishgardian army. Before, Nidhogg was pretty much just fighting with everybody who he had beef with. His siblings who wouldn't join the fight, or beating up his brother who gave him his eye because he felt sorry for him. And he knew that Hraesvelgur wouldn't bat a lash at him if he killed some of his extended children, which is pretty much solidified every time you do any sort of fading in the what is that area up there over by his nest? Where is that? That's not Sea of Clouds. It's the other one.
Churning Mist.
Yeah, Churning Mist.
Churning Mist. Thank you.
Yep.
Names. Things.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. It's all blurred together now into a big, massive Katamari. All right. So it's obvious that he's got beef with everyone that he wants to have beef with, and basically he does enough damage to keep everybody off balance, so that he can get what he wants done, punish the Ishgardians for their treachery of aeons past, which nobody in Ishgardian, anybody in Ishgard except for the Pope knows.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, he's fighting a war on multiple fronts. He's got the Ishgardians off balance. They can't follow him up into Sam'al because that's in the middle of Dravinian territory. There's dragons on all sides, and they would view any kind of invasion as a bigger war against Ishgard than they want to handle at that point in time. So, no invasion of Mericidia.
Okay.
So bringing Hraesvelgur's brood into the fight would give them an edge against Nidhogg, because they have never worked together before. And if you propose a unified front, much like the European nations and the U.S. Did against the Axis powers during World War II, you would see the tide turn against Nidhogg pretty damn fast.
See, it's an interesting theory.
Okay, so here's where the conspiracy part comes in.
Okay.
So Estinian's coming along with your group through all of 3.0, whether we want him to or not. He's there because he wants to be there. And Emmerich sees this and he says nothing. He has the power to pull Estinian back if he wanted to, but he sees an opportunity. And here's his adjunct, who is a former Garlean spy, who he knows about only because she revealed her true identity to him, and she has all of this knowledge about espionage and insurgency that he may not be aware of. So he's getting fed ideas by her, and he concocts a plan together with Estinian and his adjunct, and basically Estinian is the Trojan horse for Nidhogg. They pretty much give Nidhogg what he wants. He gets his eyes back. But Estinian's also still a part of the equation. He may give physical control over to Nidhogg, but that does not mean that his mind is completely open to him. So he could compartmentalize that part of the plan, and perhaps feed Nidhogg information that would seem appealing to him at the time, like insider information. Basically, the whole treaty thing could have been fed to Estinian long in advance.
That's a big gamble. That's a big gamble, because how long has it been since the two eyes have been in one place? It's been a long fucking time. Those eyes have been separated from each other for a really, really long time, and none of our characters, Imric and Estinian included, would have any idea what would happen if they came together. That's why, we saw Nidhogg start to take control of Estinian. So I don't think that is something that they could have even possibly begun to plan for.
I think they could have. Given the 1.0 storyline and the Dragoon storyline specifically, they saw that Estinian lost control of the eye because of Nidhogg's prodding from inside the eye. What makes you think that the opposite couldn't be true? Use Nidhogg's anger against Ishgard to his own ends.
That's an interesting idea.
Well, and the only thing that I think kind of backs that is it's a very weird decision for Nidhogg to piss off Vidofnir and Vidofnir's brood. Why are you literally, by attacking your own, you are effectively forcing us onto the same side.
Yeah, but he was doing that already. He had Hraesvalgr's other eye in his head, so Hraesvalgr couldn't exactly attack him openly back in the day because, well, half of his soul practically was sitting in Nidhogg's skull.
Right.
So you couldn't have open conflict between two broods of dragons in that era. But now that Vidofnir's got both of his eyes back, Hraesvalgr's got both of his eyes back, Vidofnir got speared by Estinian at the behest of Nidhogg. What's to say that his favorite kid getting attacked by his brother would make him throw down the gauntlet and say, okay, we're throwing him with the Ishgardians now because you have bloodied my son or daughter, depending on what gender they are.
And then,
but they had already turned against Nidhogg before. When we went and met with Vidofnir, when we had Ysdale on our team, and we had met with Hraesvalgr, we had already turned against Nidhogg. Nidhogg and his brood are its own entity. So I don't think he's forcing the dragons on our side by attacking his own, because he probably no longer sees them as his own anymore.
Could be, but
we're not talking about Nidhogg being in the conspiracy. Nidhogg is the reason why the conspiracy exists, because he is the enemy that's going to unite all of these fronts together into a single wedge. He is the enemy that they need to unify their nation.
Maybe not quite so deep of a conspiracy.
Together.
I don't know if if Estinian was able to somehow contribute to this. What if he informed Imeric of it shortly beforehand, and that's why Imeric's going off script?
Okay, so I do like what you sort of brought up at the end there, that that Nidhogg is essentially the eternal enemy, and that you need an enemy to rally your state, rally your people, rally your cause behind, and that it's sort of like there must always be a Nidhogg. You know what I mean? Like there must always be this existential threat to be able to keep peace and keep calm in your nation. Or I mean, we don't know. I mean, it could be that Ishgard is way more reliant financially on the byproducts of the Dragon Song War, and and everything that it gives, that it puts out there into the world, that it needs that as a nation to continue to be viable.
As long as they've been doing it, you got a lot of weapon makers who are going to need new work.
I mean,
the exact same thing happened here in the U.S. too. Back in World War II, we turned pretty much all of our car factories into factories that built tanks, or planes, or things that would aid the war effort. People went without meat for months because it was hyper rationed. Same thing with other materials. People were going on scrap drives. They would turn in old implements that nobody was using and put it into the factories to make more weapons.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. It could be. It could end up becoming a commentary similar to that. Like the military-industrial complex.
That's exactly where I was going with it.
So, are you saying that we have to have Estinian's plan was to give Nidhogg both his eyes so we would have a common enemy?
No,
maybe not. That final eye was something that they didn't count on. I'm sure.
Or maybe
knew where the second eye went.
Well, maybe they did.
Maybe that existed.
We don't know about the previous Nidhogg or where he came from, or if there was some kind of similar thing where there was a person that was sort of acting as the receptacle for Nidhogg, or whatever is going on with Estinian. It's possible that Amric could have known that getting both the eyes together in one place would imbue that person with the power of Nidhogg. And because we either didn't know or there wasn't a person that we could identify as Nidhogg before that, this allows Estinian and Imric to essentially control the narrative of the war behind the scenes.
Yeah, much like, Wag the dog.
Wag the dog. Yeah, that's sort of where I was going, but you added a couple of more jogs in there, and I think it's an interesting idea. I definitely like the idea, and just there's a lot of really cryptic shit.
I can't see Amric being okay with Vidalfnir being killed, though. Like, I don't think he knew that was going to happen.
As a means to an end. I mean, why give a shit about any dragon if it's just a means to an end?
He's making the big deal about the peace summit and the big treaty with the man and dragon and peace symbol, and I just feel like all of a sudden you're just going to be okay with killing one of the dragons to, I don't know.
Amric was exposed to the Warrior of Light. We met Amric in 2.0, didn't we?
Yes.
Yeah. He was exposed to the Warrior of Light, and if he saw something in us where he's like, shit, this is going to be a problem, and it's going to come to our city, we need to figure out what to do. If he can't convince the Archbishop to listen to him, like, look, this Warrior of Light thing's going to be a problem, maybe he's just trying to do what's best for his city. Maybe he's just trying to do what's best for his country. I don't know, man. I mean, we're left open to a lot of speculation here. By the way, Paul, thank you very much for your call, Paul Bunyan of Hyperion. We appreciate it. If you'd like to give Limit Break Radio a call, Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, or limitbreakradio.com/Discord to access our Discord server. So, yeah, there's just a lot. I mean, there's a million different ways that it could go. But I think the point of this is that we absolutely don't know. We have no idea what's going to happen. And I think that that's interesting. I think it's, as long as these...
This is my last donation, and I have added some dollar to this. Sorry if I offended anyone or even just taken the piss. I'm really sorry, and Nero and crew, please don't gabar me. I just fucking love the LB army. Hashtag pound your hashtag Zaladoria hashtag potatoden.
Oh, thank you, Thor.
I'm socially awkward.
We wouldn't dare think of getting mad at you. You're giving us money, for Christ's sake. It doesn't make any sense. All right, so let's get it around to really. This is the last thing that we have to talk about in terms of story. Alexander.
There's a little bit of something going on here.
I started skipping the cutscenes by the end of it. I was bored.
I went back and watched all of the cutscenes last night because I was like, there's got to be... I'm sorry. There's got to be something.
Yeah, but there's not.
There's got to be something interesting. And, I mean, when you watch them sequentially, it makes a little bit more sense. But...
Is it entertaining?
No. Is
it really engaging?
No.
Is it something you want to continue to watch?
No, and here's the thing, is that none of the characters that are taking part in this storyline give a shit about what's going on. Like Sid and Biggs and Wedge, they're all just like, oh, look at that big thing coming out of the lake. That's a thing. It's got a bubble around it though, right? Yeah, we should be fine. You know, like... They're just
Let's go poke it a little
they're
bit.
so nonplussed about it. Yeah, they're almost like, oh, what's that thing? Instead of like, oh, fuck, the world is ending.
In the beginning of that, when they actually talked about like the bubble, I was like, are they just trying to like set up like a lore reason why it's okay that we're only doing this like every 6 months while we're addressing this? Is that what they're trying to set up?
Like
here?
I imagine Sid is standing around like next to the bubble, just poking at it, just boing, 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 boing. What's that? You know, like no one gives a shit. Mai doesn't give a shit. She just doesn't. Like what is that character?
Try moving some of those muscles in your face. You got a lot of them, and they never move at all.
What bothers me, this is another cliche story of like, oh, hey, I have this love, and the only reason that there's this big threat is because I wanted to see him again, and I activated a big bad mean monster. Like, okay.
Yeah, it's the worst kind of cliche.
So we've got the butt plug black cone that apparently powers the entirety of Alexander, which is, it turns out, the codex. That's what the codex is. It's like information encoded on stone. Mm-hmm. And Maid had the final piece, so the goblins couldn't put it together. But Maid at some point says that she used the goblins.
Guys, it's a Japanese name. It's Mide.
Whatever, I don't care. She's
an Ara. They have Japanese naming schemes.
She used the goblins just like she's currently using us as a means to an end, to be able to, because she wants to hang out with her boyfriend one more time. So there was this clan of Aura, which this is the only interesting part of this entire storyline, because this is the only kind of like Aura lore that we get.
Right.
that her clan basically summoned Alexander into being using the codex, and when that happened, her boyfriend got sucked up into the core of Alexander, and everyone else got wiped out except for her. And the codex got shattered. She took she didn't take a piece. We found it in Roundrox's
stash
junk.
Of garbage.
Yeah, junk. And so that's it. That's all we got. That's what we've got for a story. And in this part of the of the raid, we see I'm just gonna keep calling her Maid because it bothers you, Nika.
Sure.
We see Maid lose her piece of the codex, and it falls back into All Think's hands.
God, that scene where she loses that
because he knew.
I was sitting here like, did she just lose that because she stumbled?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but that's not it. It's because that he has kind of rewritten time the goblin by like going back in time enough that he has made it. He has made it so that these things purposefully line up on purpose. So that she will drop it.
Is that really like? Because I don't.
He has basically relived the same scene over and over to see what things play out. Like he knows that this platform's gonna stumble, so he makes sure she gets on that platform. Like he's seen it so many times.
But Alexander,
he makes sure it lines up.
Alexander requires the full Enigma Codex to be able to work, which he doesn't have until those events. So how could he control time without the full
He somehow knows the prophecy though, because he's talked about everything must go as written, and this is blah 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 blah.
Well, but he's got the book. He's got a book, and we don't know what that book is.
Yeah, he just knows that like at this point in time, this platform will stumble, so I have to get her on this platform at this time, and blah 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 blah.
Okay.
He knows everything.
No, okay, well here's the problem, is that Maid is a fucking piece of garbage, because just because the platform stumbles doesn't mean she has to fucking drop the goddamn piece of
codex.
Yeah. So it's all her fault.
Yeah, I'm going with Juxta.
You can't fucking tell me that he's like manipulating time or knowing exactly where to be when he has no control over whether or not she's holding the codex well. You know?
Unless he does. Unless he has seen this. Unless he knows.
I'm sure he's seen it before, and he made sure that there was some kind of way that she would drop it. I believe that there was probably some part of the scenario where she didn't drop it, and so he rewound or relearned something to make sure that she did drop it.
Okay, but it's still like all her fault that she drops it. She is the worst character.
This is some Matrix shit going on.
It really is. I mean, now we've brought time into it. How do you think time is going to end up factoring in the story moving forward?
It's weird because it's not really time travel. It's
not. It's time
precognition.
It's like time reversal, but inside of that bubble.
It reminds me. Okay, I'm going to be a nerd with my favorite TV show ever, Fringe, and there was an episode where there was a guy with a time machine whose wife had Alzheimer's, and he would keep rewinding time to bring her back so that she could finish this formula for like a real time reversal machine, and she could never quite complete it, so he'd keep rewinding time. And it was only inside of the bubble in his house. And eventually, because he had messed with time so much, it started leaking and poking out into the real world. And so then people would be like walking down a street, and they would see like a train coming at them from a railway that hadn't been activated in hundreds of years or whatever.
Ghostbusters?
Yeah, and so it was
Ghostbusters.
It was really cool, and I feel like if something like that happens, we know that Alexander, they're rewinding time inside Alexander to make it like we've never even entered, never destroyed the core, nothing's ever happened. But I think that like time pockets or something is going to start affecting the real world in such a way that it's going to start fucking with everyone.
Oh God, I hope not, because then we're just going back to Wings of the Goddess.
Square Enix's lore writers watch Fringe and say, "Oh, we're doing this. This is amazing."
Wings of the Goddess, we physically transport our body back in time. This is going to be like there's just like basically saying you should never fuck with time, because something is going to go so wrong that something rewinds or something gets reversed that then can never be unreversed. Like someone important in the storyline is going to be unborn, or someone is going to be killed for something that from time, and we can't undo.
Well, Maid's gonna be gone.
His name is Quicknix All Thinks, right?
No, it's Quick Thinks All Thoughts.
All Thoughts. It makes him a little interesting as a villain in a way that like these goblins have not been intimidating at all. That is actually a cool ability that kind of makes him interesting.
Yeah.
Can we talk about
dude, seriously, outside of that, it's boring.
Can we talk about the bigger issue
time
here?
Rewound all the way before the calamity, what would happen?
The bigger issue here is that Maid's outfit is simply atrocious because it uses metallic silver, and that is just completely immersion breaking for me.
It's unacceptable
to have an NPC doing that.
Oh my gosh.
That's funny.
It's fine when I do it.
Only if we get to go back and replay with 1.0 rules and abilities.
The interface has to change back too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
The interface was horrible.
All right, let's go back. Let's go back to the phone lines. We've got Lee Fawn from Hyperion joining us. Lee, what's going on, man?
Not much.
Well, thanks for there you go. English works. So yeah, what would you like to talk about today?
Well, implications that Heidelin is not good.
Okay.
But she's the goddess of light.
I understand, but the thing that sparked this is you guys remember the art thing we got at the end of the 3.2 trailer with Heidelin having the thorny vines and wrapping Menthelia?
That's right.
And it kind of led me down a train of thought that Heidelin itself could be just a primal version of what's already left.
It's an interesting idea.
Well, I mean, we do all believe in her, much like one would believe in a primal.
Like maybe she was destroyed in the original, like Umbral era or the original calamities, and now we're praying to a false god.
Yeah.
I like
on
it.
Top of that, yeah, on top of that, some things aren't adding up, because during her little monologue as the Word of the Crystal, she mentions that her and Zodiac were split into 10 and 3.
Yeah, 10 and 3. That stuck out to me, and I didn't understand what that meant.
However, if we go back to Louis Sua's diary entry we got on New Year's,
yeah,
the sea was sundered into 14.
Oh. Actually.
So yeah, there's something missing.
Yeah, there's one missing.
There is one missing. Interesting. I would have actually, I don't think I would have ever thought of that passage again unless you had brought that up. That's really fascinating. Huh.
I like it.
Yeah,
Post for you.
Yeah, because numbers are a pretty big importance in Final Fantasy. They always kind of have been. And yeah, you're right. There was mention in the Garoon Chronicles, something like that. The sea was sundered into 14, and then you've got 10 and 3 here. So yeah, there does seem to be variances between the two accounts.
So is Heidelin the one that's missing?
I don't know.
Penguin Mint in the chat says, localization error confirmed. Thanks for finding it.
Well, it would explain Heidelin's repeated failures at trying to stop Zodiac from returning, and it would also explain her difficulties. Like, her power is waning as her followers disappear, as the people who believe in her go away.
Yeah.
That would work. And I mean, Heidelin does meet all the requirements that we've seen for what a primal needs to exist.
Right. I don't know. That interesting thought, Lee. Thank you so much for the call. We appreciate you calling Limit Break Radio.
I'm looking forward to when we're so famous that people make primals of us. Warrior of Light Primal is going to be hype. Maybe that's what the Warrior of Darkness is.
I'm already an Elder Primal. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah, we're already primals right now.
That's right. No. All right. So Hildebrand, did anyone do Hildebrand?
I did.
I actually did. I did it last night.
Yeah, it was quick, but I mean, it's Hildebrand.
Yeah,
it's what you want from Hildebrand.
You did?
I still don't understand why
you're terrible.
They animate Hildebrand's face so weird. It makes me feel so off. I don't know. I can't stand when they animate his lips to a point where they go inside of his mouth and stretch. For some reason, I feel so nauseated when they do that with his face that I just want to run away.
Do you remember Super Mario 64 and how you could tug his face around at the open screen?
Oh my God,
that's what it's like.
Oh my God,
it is.
It bothers me so much.
So here's what I absolutely loved about Hildebrand this time around. And it's that this time around, when the insanity around Hildebrand is happening, your character is no longer confused by it. You're very accepting of everything that's going on. And now they have the new character who's there to fill that role of, what am I looking at that you fulfilled in 2.0?
It's Hildebrand.
Yeah.
And yeah, your character's just just go with it.
It was good. I mean, it got a couple of chuckles out of me. I thought it was well animated. The part with Godbert that was just
great.
I thought the colder it got, the less clothes he had on.
Yeah, I mean, it was.
When you first see him, he's in a big coat, and then he's in regular clothes, and then he's naked, and we're like, what?
It's funny. They did a good job. I'm glad to see.
I love that Seer, the new head of the Inquisition, is the trainee of the guy from the Vault.
Yeah.
That is hysterical to me because he's just trying to be him and he sucks at it.
I know. And then the other thing too is I actually ended up doing both the Scholasticate quest and Hildebrand last night. And I sort of feel like they're actually going to be
converging?
At some point they're going to meet in the middle, and then it's going to be one
line.
I've had this weird feeling for a long time that Hildebrand is blessed of the Echo. I feel like he is.
No,
I feel like it's the only reason he survives the ridiculous shit that he does and is always in the right place at the right time. I feel like he might be blessed of the Echo, and we might find that out at some point.
How else would he not be dead by now?
Exactly.
He should have died in the Calamity.
There's no way he would have survived being birthed by Godbert were he not blessed of the Echo.
Hildebrand can never die.
And that's what the Echo does. And, it respawns you.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
He essentially has respawned 4 times.
Just upside down and underground for some reason.
That's why he doesn't die.
And Vivi, because Vivi.
Oh yeah, Gigi in there. That's interesting. Because I do think that there are some parallels between Gigi and Vivi from.
Oh, absolutely, like
9.
100%.
So I'm wondering if they'll end up getting if he'll end up getting a name change. But that was kind of cool.
Because like his amnesia and the fact that he looks exactly like Vivi with just like robot legs.
Exactly.
He's he's an automaton version of Vivi.
Right.
If this is the next crossover to a different Final Fantasy game, I'm telling you, man, the evidence is mounting.
Jeez. All right, let's move on into emails. Thank you guys for all your calls.
You can't ignore the Vath Deft Arm, guys.
We talked about the Vath. That's the only thing we did talk about last week.
Yeah,
We talk about the story. He just wants to be an adventurer.
Yay.
Except
thanks for the discussion.
Except
Good job.
you're running drugs and making booze and I mean,
what do you think adventurers
I think
bro?
it's cool that the Vath have separated themselves so far from the One Mind that they've created their own adventurers guild and are actually becoming adventurers. I think it's clever and it's really cute and it's the most like invested in a Beastman storyline that I have.
I actually like that it's addressing some of the quote unquote seedier aspects of Eorzea, like, you know, what do people smoke when they want to relax? Or what is the best kind of wine? You know, like
you were right though.
We're answering really. I mean, like honestly, it fleshes out the world a little bit.
This is a world where a calamity happened. There should be some shittiness. In it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So
I love that that's what you guys pick out of the story.
Well, yeah, the important part.
Yeah, the good things.
There's a lot of lore that you kind of see the different, like how the One Mind calls to the Vath that are trying to break away. And like I thought that was a lot more context to the Vath and the Nath than we've ever had before, which is really cool.
Yeah, fair enough. So let's read a couple of emails here. Juxta, why don't you take the first one since it's nice and short?
Hey guys, still loving the show. I don't want to go on a rant, so I'll keep it brief. With the FFFL going strong, I want to see what you guys have to say about starting an FFWL, Final Fantasy Waifu League.
Oh, God.
I want to know which FF character you 7, if you want to let Kooky and Pops in on this, would claim as your waifu. I'm preemptively claiming Celis Cher as my waifu because she is the best waifu. Keep it up. Still loving the show after all them episodes. X-Fon cast of Fairy Server.
Thank you. P.S. Your waifu is shit.
I
have too many waifus I can't pick.
I'm going to go ahead and draft my waifu. Good donor to the show. So that's my pick.
What?
My waifu.
You gotta pick a Final Fantasy character, moron.
You dumb shit.
God damn.
I have too many.
We're not actually doing this, are we?
Go. I'm waiting on you.
I'm not first draft. I did this last time. Someone else can handle this draft.
Oh, fucking Christ.
Jesus.
I have like 4 waifus though.
You got to pick one, Nika. You don't get 4.
I can't do it.
You got to pick one.
Riku, for sure, for me. Riku.
I'm taking
Yeah.
Tifa.
Riku? Why Riku? Like,
It's the
she's
skirt.
so-
We
she's
know
so,
it's the skirt. Just say it's the skirt.
No.
Underage.
She's not underage, but her personality is very childish, which is not what I would expect for you, Nero. I'm curious.
It has to do with someone who's cosplayed as Riku.
Oh, okay.
Like I say, it's the skirt.
Skirt has a lot to do with it.
Yeah. All right. Give me Garnet. She's the only one of the few Final Fantasy women I actually really cared about.
Garnet?
Yeah,
Really?
give me Garnet.
Garnet?
Garnet.
No, it's not Garnet. God, asshole. Garnet till Alejandros.
Come on. All right, let's pick it up. Juxta, what about you said Tifa, right?
Yeah, I picked Tifa, bro.
Nika,
Big boobs.
Come on, Nika.
I'm gonna go Lilithette because I have to.
Okay.
Lilith.
Out of
I
all.
have too many. Okay, Lilithette and
It's
Ysael
all bad.
are both my waifus, as well as Ferris from FF5. So
who are you drafting? Who do we get to inform
you gotta pin it down
that
to
you
one.
skipped them?
Lily.
Lily? Okay, it's a little set.
All right.
Lilith's not bad.
All right. Let's take a look at this next email here. Who wants to?
I got it.
All right.
Jesus.
Greetings, LBR crew. I know how strongly you guys feel about Stone, Sky, and Sea, so I know this will be a tough sell, but these are my feelings on the matter. Stone, Sky, and Sea serves as a DPS fundamentals test. Its purpose is not to let you practice mechanics or tell you if you can win. Rather, it serves as a time-saving sanity check for players curious about moving up to the next tier of content on a specific job. It's like a pickup line for raiding. Doing well doesn't mean you're home free, but if you bomb this, forget about it and go work on your shit. Here's an example. Let's say I'm an I-180 Dragoon who forgets to use his level 4 combo skill 10% of the time. So Blood of the Dragon is up most, but not all of the time. time. Pretty good player, but not world first caliber. Let's say I want the mount from Alex 4 Savage. I exceed the minimum eye level requirement of 170 by 10, but maybe that's not enough to cover my small skill gap. I have a couple of options. Number 1, the Callow method. Fuck it. Just zone in and try it.
Sounds legit.
There. We play for 85 minutes and consistently hit rage because my DPS just isn't quite high enough. I still get something out of it because I'm learning the fight, but let's assume everyone else knows it cold. I just wasted 90 minutes for 7 people. Number 2, the Aniro method. DPS parser, bitches. Okay, I get to my FC house dummy and get 1100 DPS. All right, great. Is that enough for A4S? I don't know. How do I find out? Okay, well, here I go to Google. Well, this drone clears it, but he's doing 1200 DPS at Y175. Does that mean my DPS is too low, or is this just higher than what you need? This guy is doing 1100, but he's a bard, so it's not necessarily a good number for me. God damn it. I spent 30 minutes Googling shit. Fuck it, Callow method. Number 3, the OCP method. I spend 10 minutes trying Alex 4 Savage, Stone Sky, and C. I can't meet the DPS check, so I opt to wait until I'm a little more gear before I try it. So much time saved. Strictly speaking, I don't think the feature is worthless. Is the benefit minimal? Yeah, that's fair. It's not great. I think it would be much better paired with some adventurer licenses. That's from Torquil Rather Dashing of Balmung. And P.S. Hi, Kookie.
Oh, that's a different one.
That is and actually, I think that's a somewhat fair point.
Yes. I mean, I get what Torquil is saying in his email. I think my point was more towards the amount of development that was put into it.
Yeah.
Like how much it was like an entire quarter of this patch. It just like Lords of Verminion was, right? And I think the criticism of this is the same as Lords of Verminion, that not that it doesn't belong in the game, but this is some shit that should have come out with like 3.0, right? Like that's some quality of life shit. Don't sit, Square Enix, don't sit here and pass that shit off to me as a main feature of your fucking patch. That's a footnote at best. Does not deserve a screenshot. Doesn't deserve time in your goddamn trailer.
Does it deserve a cutscene?
It's a quality of life adjustment. So treat it as a quality of life adjustment. Don't sell it to me as a main selling point of your fucking patch, because that's where I go, no, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
That's bullshit. You can't fucking sell that to me as if I'm the fucking main audience for that. And you can't sell it like it's a main feature of your patch. And then leave out fucking PvP.
God.
What the fuck, man? I mean, that's not like it's not saying that it's worthless. It's not worthless. Every addition to the game is worthwhile in one way or another.
Except for Minion.
But if they put iCam as a centralized feature of this patch, like this is the reason I'm selling you on this patch, it's got the iCam, people would look at that and go, what?
Yeah, there'd be 4 podcasts.
That's not a feature, that's a footnote.
There'd be 4 podcasts like, well, that's hype. And then everyone else would be like, fuck that.
I mean, I can't be the only one that feels like that. I mean,
you're right. It is there for like what he's saying. It makes sense, but at that point, couldn't you just have like I don't know. It's
good addition.
I'm sorry.
No, just add more shit. I mean, you know, if you want to put that in, I can't imagine that it took that much development time to put in. But they're selling it as if, oh, this took a good quarter of our time. You know that extra 7 weeks that we had? It was to develop this.
If it's going to be a main feature, it has to do more.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
At least give us fucking achievements for it, man.
They sold it as if it was the next raid or something. Like that's what kind of exposition it got in the trailer on the website. And it's fucking it's not good. Most players don't need this. Anyway, all right. Thank you for the email. We appreciate all of your emails, but thank you, Torquil. And we'll take this last email here. Hey, Limit Break Radio hosts and intern, I want to thank you for such entertaining content. Good job, Nero, for not cracking under the pressure and not changing to a Lalafell.
Like,
sorry.
Yeah, good job, man.
They should stick you in Stone Sky C because obviously their DPS wasn't good enough to break you. Now for something I like to call Drunk Uncle Chrono's lore. Today's story is about the origin of Lalafels. What most people don't know is that all Rogadin are born male. When Rogadin go through puberty, that is when they learn what their future sex will be. When a female Rogadin goes through puberty, she finds a nice fertile soil, and 2 days her dick and balls fall off to the ground. After about a month, that Rogadin's penis sprouts into brand new Lalafell. So literally all Lalafels are dicks, and that's why Juxta is always picking on Nika, because he has mommy issues. Join me next time on Drunk Uncle Chrono's Lore, where we find out why Mikote were kicked out of the Khajiit homeland for being too weeaboo. Much love and respect, Chrono Sage on Diabolos. Thank you, Chrono.
Oh my God,
I like that email.
Drunk Uncle Chrono.
That's a great...
I could totally see like a drunk uncle in this game coming up with shit like that.
I think that's a fantastic headcanon. I want to roll with that.
Yeah, Juxta, tell us about the mommy issues.
I'm speechless.
I didn't sprout Juxta from my dick. I'm sorry.
Well,
my dick would never turn into something as horrible as
He's not saying that. He's just saying that because you're a Rogadin, Juxta's projecting that onto you.
I know. But I'm saying that he... No.
But I'm not even a Lalafell.
You
were. That's because I drank a potion, not because I sprang from Nika's dick.
Okay, that's true.
Yeah, all right.
Good theory, though. That can be where Papa Woody came from.
This is like the story of Persephone. This is getting weird.
It is getting weird. Oh, man.
Oh, did you guys see I got my relic?
Congrats.
Yay!
Yeah.
I got it. I got my relic. It's a thing, guys.
Yeah.
And we still don't, have to wait until the next
Welcome to last
patch
year.
update, so...
So that's, I think, going to be it for Limit Break Radio for this week. Thank you guys so much for all of your calls, your emails, your chatting, and you guys putting up with all of the technical problems that we've been putting up with today. Let's reassess here. Okay, we've had an hour and 5 minutes worth of uptime on the stream. It's been an hour.
Are we touting that as good?
It's been an hour and 5 minutes since our last internet hiccup.
Yeah.
Do we roll the dice this week and try to put out an FEC, or do we do back-to-back FECs next week and the week following?
We would have Callow back.
We would have Callow back
if we push it back a week.
I can't say from my end, ever since like the second hiccup, you guys have occasionally sound like digital robots.
Yeah, it seems like a big dice roll.
Yeah.
With the current situation.
Our news segment has like 5 trailers that we're showing in
Exactly. Yeah, the news segment has like 5 trailers. Nika's camera would have to stay stable. I feel like there's just too many things that could possibly go wrong.
Too many variables with how it's going today. Like if we didn't have,
I've got a technician that's coming out on Wednesday to come look at this.
I've never felt so bad for a technician in my entire life.
Oh,
awkward.
Oh, it's the thing.
Should we just call a police officer to?
The thing about me and Comcast is that I am not shy about completely tearing into them because I have an expectation of what my service should be. Yeah. I've been. I've been a customer of a good internet service provider in the past.
Who?
Charter. I never had one problem. The entire 5 years that I was on Charter, I would have the occasional reasonable internet blink that it would go down and it would be like, oh, somebody hit a pole. and you'd call them and that's what they would tell you. They'd be like, oh, somebody in Clare County hit a pole. We've got someone to go fix it right now. Comcast is such a goddamn behemoth, they can't tell whether they're coming or going, and they can't even properly schedule someone to come out to your house when they're supposed to. Okay? So my expectation for Comcast is like at least be as good as the company that's half your size and providing double your service.
But why? They're half our size. They can't compete with us.
Because that's my expectation for my internet service. I mean, I live in a major metropolitan area. You know what I mean? Like this should be very simple to figure out either what's going wrong currently or how to fix it. It should not be like I have to deal with fucking internet blinks here all the time. All the time. I'm lucky that it doesn't happen when I'm streaming more often. I'm lucky that it doesn't happen on Sundays more often. But it's been a gigantic fucking problem. And so I feel like there's too many variables to be able to do Final Encounter tonight. I really do. I really want to do it because there's a lot of shit that I really want to talk about.
Yeah, some of our news articles are going to make for good conversation.
Mistwalker is they're making a new fucking game. I could do an hour on that alone.
Yeah.
On how just excited I am for that shit.
Please don't. What does Mistwalker make?
They made Blue Dragon, Lost Odyssey. It's Hironobu Sakaguchi, the guy who made basically Final Fantasies 1 through 10.
Oh,
yeah, it's his company,
right.
And they're partnering up with the guys who made Bravely Default for a game.
Which means that they have Silicon Era. Yeah, right. Isn't that exciting? Isn't that insanely exciting?
What was the company that was like making a Final Fantasy Tactics game that like went under?
Oh, that was a Kickstarter. That was a Kickstarter. They're having trouble developing it.
Is that the unsung story thing?
It is.
We have an update on that in our news too.
We do. And unfortunately,
I guess the unsung story is going to remain unsung.
It seems like it.
I need a rim shot. Drop.
Thank you.
Drop.
Thank you.
I like how it just stops after rim shot.
As we both like kind of glanced at him, like, please mean drop.
Yeah.
So,
all right. I think we maybe push back a week on this.
I think we have to.
Yeah.
I think we have to. It's and my concern is the cameras. Like if
when something goes down, then it's going to be a pain in the ass to bring it back up.
It's going to take. It's not as easy as Limit Break Radio, where we can just leave it alone and let it come back.
Right.
If Nika's camera goes down, we have to recrop all of that and resize all of the scenes. If
not to mention when our OBS crashes, our cams have a way of not coming back up.
That too.
Like we've dealt with that where we've had to close out OBS and then we couldn't get the cameras to work in the studio again.
And I see people in the chat. I see Zenoria doing, you saying, just do it. Chrono, please do. I really would. I really would love to do FEC today. I also want it to be good. I also don't want it to be a total shit show where things are breaking the entire time.
Maybe we could do some streaming instead.
I think maybe some streaming is in order tonight.
Yeah,
we're gonna stream to make up for it. So guys, stick around. I probably will not be streaming.
You're given your internet,
given my internet issues, but I will try to hop on and hang out with whoever is streaming.
You guys need to do an out of context segment once a month. For when Jackson needs his rim shot dropped.
Oh, Lauro, thanks for that. So yeah, I hate doing this. I hate rescheduling things.
Yeah.
I hate once I set it, I'm like, that's when we're doing it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if I'm sick. I'll
feast or famine.
Force myself to do it.
Snow or sleet.
Well, that's like before we had our first cutoff. I was trying to say near the beginning of the show, like having you on like the host chat when you're worried that a show's not going to go down is terrifying because you lose your shit.
I really do. Like I really take it very personally.
We sit here thinking like he's a pretty like stable guy, but I'm gonna keep an eye on the news to see if someone went on a gun rampage because this might be the one.
No, I just don't. I don't want to risk it because, you know what? I feel like this show went really, really well despite the couple of technical hiccups.
But LBR is more designed to do well.
And if we hop over to FEC and it doesn't go well, it's going to just leave me with it's going to sour my mood for the rest of the day.
Yeah, I think we push back a week. And then we'll just because this would have been the last episode before we go weekly, right?
That's right.
So next week will effectively be us going weekly then. Am I correct?
Well, it would be actually. Hang on,
because we would go the week after too.
No, we would if we go live on the 13th, we would skip the 20th and then go live the 27th weekly because it's always been the 27th when we were planning on going weekly. So, yeah.
All right. Yeah, I think that's what we got to do.
I think it is.
And you can we'll get the internet figured out, and we'll do some streaming tonight to make up for it.
And plus, Kyle really was sad that he was going to miss FEC too.
Oh, was he?
Kind of, yeah.
Oh, that sucks. So, okay, all right. Given all of those things, I think we're going to have to put a pin in Final Encounter Cast for tonight.
This is bullshit.
I'm sorry, guys. I really am. I'm really sorry, guys. I really hate doing this. I'm glad that we were able to get LBR out.
Yes.
Even though there were potential problems. I'm glad that we were able to shore this up, because I was last night I had sent out a bunch of tweets that said, well, that we may have to cancel the show tomorrow because I lost internet. And I was just beside myself last night, thinking that we were going to have to cancel both LBR and FEC. So I half, that's not bad. At least we got LBR out. So.
Right. And and it, despite a couple internet hiccups, it went well. So
yeah. Yep. Refresh is Wednesday mornings at 10. Assuming that my internet hiccups have been resolved by then, we will have our next live episode of Refresh Wednesday at 10 over at twitch.tv/FinalEncounterCast. There will not be a post show tonight since Pops is sick, unless one of us wants to volunteer.
I was thinking we'd probably jet so we can get home and stream.
Yeah.
And not not have to make them wait around for too long. Like, Nika can take it for a while until we're able to get home, but...
I can.
Right.
Yeah, so if she's just going to take the stream and do that while we're off getting home, we can just do that.
Right.
Still going to do a green room, though, right?
Yeah, we are going to do a green room. So for those that like the post-show green room separation, we're going to combine it into a single video one more time because Pops isn't here to be able to conduct the show. So, yeah. But we do want to thank Kooky for all of her hard work getting callers over to us, and also for tallying all of the Potato Din hashtags. That's
a lot.
Pretty impressive, I got to say. So before we go, Callie, Escalia, why don't you talk about You Are Not Alone?
Yes, it is coming up this Friday, March 11th at 5 p.m. You're Not Alone is going to be a charity stream for Transgender Michigan, and you can find out more about them at transgendermichigan.org, but kind of the highlights. Their biggest thing that they do is they provide a call-in helpline that people from all over the world have used, that if you're going through transgender or any kind of gender issues, you can call in, get advice, seek help, find resources in your area. They partner with other groups all across the country to provide all kinds of resources and help tools for people who are going through issues with gender. I actually got the trailer up. I think we showed it before the beginning of the show.
We sure did.
I'm really pleased how that came out. I want to send a big, huge thank you to Malky Thera, who provided me the graphics on that. They looked outstanding, and I'm very happy with how that came out. That's happening this Friday at 5 p.m. We're going to be playing Final Fantasy IX, start to finish, one sitting. I'm also planning on doing all the Chocobo Hot and Cold stuff because I fucking love that minigame. So we're gonna do that. We've got some stretch goals laid out. I'm still looking for suggestions for the last couple ones. At $1,000, I'm getting my arms waxed live during the event, and at $1,500, I'm going to get my hair dyed. But I'm still looking for a suggestion for a stretch goal at $500 and one for $2,100.12, which is what we raised at Seeds of Acceptance, and that is my goal to break.
There we go.
So I hope everyone will be here at twitch.tv/limitbreakradio this Friday, 5 o'clock. And one thing that's been really cool about this is before Seeds of Acceptance, people sent me lots of messages saying, what can I do to help? Things like that. This time I'm getting lots of different feedback of people like wanting to do stuff along with it. Like Thor Carson made a pledge on Twitter to go as long as I go. He's going to stay up with the stream as long as I stay up.
Oh, wow.
Which I thought was a really cool pledge. So
That
if you
is
want to
very
go
cool.
ahead and make that pledge, I encourage you, stay up with me. It's going to be a fun time. We're going to keep it going all night. That was a really cool. He just literally pledged. At Escalia, I'll stay up as long as he does.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You guys have got to keep the chat engaging. I mean, 24 hours is that's tough, man.
I can't carry the conversation for 24 hours.
That's right. That's right. So we'd love it if you made time, stop by, said hi. If you've got a little extra rolling around in your piggy bank, toss it in for You Are Not Alone.
Yep.
And
for a wonderful cause.
It is. It goes to a great cause. And we talk about a lot of different things. A couple of people were like, they came to me and they were like, oh, so isn't it weird that you spent 10-20 minutes bagging on transgender people on your one show, and then you're doing a charity for transgender rights? Come on. If you really if you can't understand what's happening when we have conversations like that, you can have Like, you can have difficult conversations and people admitting that, like, oh, I don't know what's up with this, without being a bigoted asshole.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, we want to help people, you know, like whether it's our our efforts through Extra Life, whether it's our efforts through You Are Not Alone or Seeds of Acceptance, we want to make sure that Limit Break Radio is used to spread some positivity as well. And I get that we tell jokes. We tell a lot of jokes.
Oh, yeah.
We make fun of everything. There is nothing sacred. We make fun of the things that we find sacred to ourselves.
It was a joke, you bitch.
And we have difficult conversations, and I think that's what people appreciate about this show. It's real conversations stripped down to get rid of all of the oh, you can't say that kind of shit. We break down those barriers and we have real conversations, and then we come back and we try to do the right thing.
Yeah.
And it's not for feeling bad about having the conversation, but because this is an organization and a cause that is worth supporting.
Yep. And I mean, I don't know, like, I would pull back the wool a little bit here. I don't even know if you'd want me to share this, but like, it should be pointed out because some people, like you say, they mentioned like, wow, you guys really went at that, and like, we're like, how did you feel about that? And I wanted to point out that before we went on the air for that show, in something we don't often do, you pulled me aside and asked me if I was comfortable about talking about that talking point, which we don't do often.
Right.
And I thought that was really cool of you, first of all, and thank you for that.
That's the necessary thing that you have to do behind the scenes.
Yes.
To prevent being an asshole.
Right.
I mean, I feel like if I brought it up without telling you or without kind of giving you a bit of a warning, that may have been an asshole thing for me to do.
No,
because I don't want to put you on the spot.
Right.
You know? And so it doesn't come from a place of like, oh, I'm so weirded out by this, I just want to talk about it,
Right.
or like a place of ignorance, or a place of like malice, or anything like that. It comes from a desire to want to have a genuine conversation about things and about people in a real meaningful way, without having to choose your language so carefully to not offend anyone.
Right. You don't have to always be PC about it.
That's right.
Yeah. You can have the conversation without offending people, I feel like, or like nothing that we said should offend anybody. I don't think it really did, but I don't know. I thought what we had was a real conversation, and it brought some light on a real issue. And I mean, now here I am. Like, I sat there thinking about that. Like, oh God, I'm 2 weeks out from a charity stream, and we're doing this bit now on the air. But
right,
at the end of the day, we're trying to help a good cause, and it's something. Seeds of Acceptance is far and away the best thing I've ever done in my life by my recognition.
Right.
Like, it's the thing I look back on the most fondly, and I'm looking forward to maybe supplanting that with You're Not Alone. But these are the moments where I feel like I can do something to help people that go through something similar to what I go through,
right,
on a much grander scale than I do. I have no illusions that I have gone through the shit that nearly as many people. Like, I am in like the top 10 percentile in ease of having to deal with this. My family did not disown me. My friends stuck with me. Those two things alone.
You were never out on the street.
I was never out on the street. Those two things alone put me in such a far easier category than so many people. So if I can do anything to help some people out there who deal with it in a much worse way than I have,
who are having a much harder transition, then
it's worth it. And that's like I said to Melky Thera, like, whether we raise $10,000 or $10, it's worth it to get on the air and try and spread the word a little bit. So if you're out there, and even if you can't make a donation, I encourage you to be there, contribute in the chat, make it fun. You're helping that way.
Well, it's just like when we spent one episode talking about PBS Game Show, and they did a video on what is pain in video games, and should video games be painful. And there was a comment in our YouTube section that said, I'm really surprised that this guy is just a SJW mouthpiece, and I'm really surprised that you're giving him the time of day. And my response was, I don't have to agree with literally everything that someone says to think that they make a good point.
Sure.
I thought that video had merit, and I thought it added to the discussion, and that's why we watched it. It wasn't an endorsement of that guy or everything that he's ever made. I am a big fan of his videos. I like his videos, but I also do understand the criticism that he is a bit of an SJW mouthpiece. He is. He gets on that shit sometimes. But that doesn't preclude me from respecting, I can disagree with someone and still respect the point that they're trying to make.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, and I think that's what's happening here. I don't even disagree. I don't disagree with any of the, any of the trans discussions that we've had, or anyone that chooses to be trans or anything like that. I've never, ever expressed any kind of personal problem or, I've never even been weirded out by it.
Yeah.
But, just to hear people's reactions to that, to that conversation that we had on Final Encounter.
One person
was
called
very
us transphobic.
Yes.
Which was hysterical, as I'm saying, like, boy, do we have bad news for you.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
It's bizarre.
It was bizarre.
Anyway, so yes, guys, join us for You're Not Alone. That's coming up this Friday. Please hang out with Escalia, keep them company, and give to a good cause. We'd really like this to be bigger than Seeds of Acceptance, and that can only be done with your guys' help. So tune in on Friday for You're Not Alone, and we'll thank you. And in terms of coming up with, we talk about fundraising. Usually when we plan stuff like this, we plan it very carefully so that, the bet and You Are Not Alone aren't overlapping.
Right. Originally, You're Not Alone was going to be a November event, but we had the bet coming up, and I didn't want to do it.
Right. So just to give you an idea, the bet has concluded. The Patreon is always, omnipresent. Like, if you want to support Limit Break Radio, obviously the best way to do that is at Patreon, and for that you get some things in return. However, our next fundraising effort after You're Not Alone is going to be to fatten up our wallets for FanFest and to get ready for FanFest. Now, of what you guys have already given to Patreon, we have more than $2,000 set aside for our travel expenses.
Yep.
So it's not like we haven't been saving and setting aside for this already.
Yep.
But what we're looking at doing, what we're exploring at the moment.
I might even kiss a dude.
Really, Juxta?
No, you're talking. That's what you said.
Oh. What we're exploring at this very moment is trying to come up with an event bigger than the after party.
Yep.
Possibly involving Susan Calloway. Possibly.
Mm-hmm.
And if we can actually get a bit of a budget, like I've got an idea rolling around in this old dome here, and every once in a while, those ideas are really awesome. Not all the time.
How often is that?
Not all the time. Every once in a while, they're really awesome.
Rarely.
And so, if I can get everyone on the same page, hopefully I can, we want to plan on something big. So, we'll have more info about that in the future, but just know that any fundraising efforts that we have after You're Not Alone are pretty much going to be centered on FanFest.
Yep.
What we can do at FanFest. We've pretty much got the money to make sure that most all of the crew gets out to FanFest.
Yep.
It's at this point, we want to do something cool for you guys.
Yep.
We want to do something cool for the fans. And so we've got some plans. We've got some machinations in work. Okay, so get really excited. And get super excited also about Alamo City, because that comes 2 weeks after FanFest, and that is another massive announcement. So you guys be excited for that, because that's what we've got going on in the future here at Limit Break Radio. All right, that's going to do it here for us this week. Thank you guys for hanging out, all 200 of you that have still held on past the point that we said we were going to wrap it up. But thank you guys for hanging out and for tuning in here at Limit Break Radio and muscling through all of our technical problems. We apologize for those. It's nothing that we could have you could have had any control over. We apologize for canceling Final Encountercast this week. We will be back next week with episode number 10 of Final Encountercast, and if you'd like to listen to Final Encountercast, you could do that at finalencountercast.com. LimitBreakRadio.com is our website, Facebook.com/LimitBreakRadio, at LimitBreakRadio on Twitter, and Patreon.com/LimitBreakRadio to support the show. For Juxtaposition, Nika Kayanian, Escalia Rayumasa, and Kooky Persona answering them phones, I'm Aniro. Keep listening. Limit Break Radio is a production of LimitBreakRadio.com and Bender Media Productions. Today's episode was produced by Juxtaposition, Escalia Rayumasa, and Aniro Grigori. Final Fantasy XIV and Eorzea are trademarks of Square Enix. Funding for Limit Break Radio is provided by Miri Kennett, Captain Failboat, Zurian Urexin, Azura Giacho, Bianca Forwind, Kalina Ashsaber, Thor Carson, My Waifu, Satori Komeji, and fellow Limit Break Radio listeners. To support Limit Break Radio, visit patreon.com/limitbreakradio. Opening music in this episode from Daniel Lambie. Listen to Man with the Machine Gun and other great tracks at facebook.com/Daniel Lambie Metal Gamer. Closing music in this episode provided by Husky by the Geek. Listen to this and other great Final Fantasy XIV and video game rock covers and original music at facebook.com/Husky by the Geek. In-game graphics for Limit Break Radio's Twitch stream are provided by Diamond Multimedia. Check out their line of AMD graphics cards and other hardware at diamondmm.com. Limit Break Radio and its hosts are solely responsible for its content.